Kyle Corin back. I don't know what type of seat you have, but I just adjusted my seat lever up and I feel like so much more like powerful. Like I feel like
Yeah, man.
it's incredible. Like I was sitting so low and all I did was just go like
Nope.
and like I'm up and now I feel like he has risen. Like I feel like Jesus Christ right now.
This one I'm sitting in actually doesn't even have a thing to go up. Like
Oh,
I'm
for
as high as
real?
I can get in this bitch. Yeah, and that sucks because to your point, when you can go up, it really feels like ooh.
Yeah, it feels like
But
there's some like one of those little like whatever's on a car that goes like it feels like that's in my seat because I pushed it and it literally made that sound and just went up. And it's one of those things where I didn't even notice when I was so far down how much of a difference like just
oh yeah, it's a big
my
difference.
back, my posture. It's like it's like how are you like with your car seat, your whatever, right? Like if someone changes your shit, you'll just like adjust with it.
Yeah, I adjust it, but I don't like it when somebody changes my thing.
Yeah.
So like I'm way far back. I drive like I'm a
Yeah, you're
gangster
like
in
sitting
2005.
like real
Yeah,
low with it.
I move it all the way as far back as I can with the seat, and then with the top, I lean it back. And then usually I'll switch it up, but I like to lean back and drive with either my right hand or switch it to my left hand. I'm very rarely like properly seated with both hands on the wheel, you know?
Now, have you ever sat up and been like, "Oh shit," like because I've done the lean back a little bit, and I feel like I'm not like as aware of shit. Like if I'm up and on it, like I'm taking a road test, like and someone swerves into me, I could be like whoop whoop. Whereas if I'm back leaning, and maybe it's just the mentalness of like, yo, I'm in chill mode, that I'm not as like quick with it. Have you ever sat up and like tried to OD official drive and been like, all right, this makes a big difference?
So I've done the official drive, but usually I do it at the end of a long drive when my back starts hurting.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Then
that
I'll
too.
I'll adjust the seat then and sit more upright, and
Yep.
that's fine when I do that. But I think because of my height, I'm 6 feet tall, so when I lean it back, it doesn't really make a difference to me. Like I could still see everything just fine. I feel like I could drive equally as good if I'm leaning back or if I'm sitting up in it.
Yep.
But yeah, only when my back hurts will I do like the proper drive.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll adjust it to be a little more upright on the seat, but usually that's related to my back, you know?
Yeah. I saw Ellen DeGeneres say this, but there's that one part of the seat where like the middle back shit, you can like adjust it to like push your back in. I
Hmm.
don't really like that, but Molly loves that on her back, and for whatever reason, I just feel like it's like more uncomfortable when there's like something pushing against my inner back, but it makes more
Oh,
sense.
really?
Yeah, that like it would help your back, but for me, I feel like it hurts my back more that something's like pushing against it.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I need lumbar support. I
Yeah.
need it to push into the lower part of my back
Yeah.
because that makes it feel more supported. I also generally just have I have shitty posture.
Yeah,
Like I'm
same.
always sort of like like hunched over. Nah, you have way better posture than me.
I
I'm
like
like
yeah.
fucking Quasimodo in this bitch. I'm always like hunched over. So yeah, for me that helps a lot. That back support, lumbar.
I try to like consciously like when I'm in the sauna or when I'm just like sitting at some place for a long time, like I'll try and sit upright. Um, but to your point, when I do everything else, like I've never so I when I'm back at the gym now and they have these classes that's it's for like it's hip it's hinge and pull or some shit. So it's like your hips and it's like hinging and just literally everything I do, the lady's like always correcting me just because I never have good posture with like deadlifting or keeping my back straight. So like
Hmm.
I feel like even like picking up groceries and shit, my back is just always rounded as fuck. And like I doubt my dad ever thought about it when he was younger, but like my dad now, like his back is just completely shot. And I
Hmm.
can't, I've had back pain before for like a week where it's been killing me. And I can't even imagine. And I know your dad went through back pain and like, went to the chiropractor and all this shit. Like it'll get to a point where I'll just be like, yo, fuck this. I can't. Like having back pain is some weak at like that shit is dumb
Yeah.
obnoxious. And I feel like it's an issue that everybody has
Well,
at every
Crystal
age.
had it. Crystal used to do this, not CrossFit, but like it was like CrossFit. It was
Yeah.
another program that was kind of like CrossFit, and she had fucked up her back doing that. And she said like having back pain, persistent back pain, is like the worst possible thing because there's like nothing you could do for relief. there's no way to stand, there's no way to sit, there's no way to tilt your body or twist your body that makes you feel like, oh, I'm definitely good right now.
Yep.
And there's this thing like sciatica, it's called. It's like the nerve pain in the back. It's
Yeah.
like if you get that shooting nerve pain,
Oh,
which can just happen whenever the fuck it wants, like that's a nightmare, bro. That's where, like, I don't blame people for being on fucking Percocet 24/7, trying to just dull the pain a little bit.
yeah.
That's horrible. I'm lucky. I've never really had chronic back pain. Sometimes at the end of a long drive, actually, it's my upper back that'll hurt, not my
Okay.
lower back,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy because, like I was saying, I have notoriously shitty posture and I don't have any back pain. And I play golf and shit too, so you would think I would have back pain.
Yeah.
But your form may not have been good while you were working out, but I
Yeah.
do feel like if you're just going through life or whatever, you have decent posture at those times because I think it's got a lot to do with how your neck sits. Like,
Yeah.
your neck is in a decent place where like your back is relatively straight when you do shit.
Yeah.
I feel like my shit, it's like God put my neck more on the front side of my body, so my shit is just always like leaning forward, and like I could fake it, like I could like sit there like this with my neck back and shit, but I'm just faking it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I don't know. I've never. I think I've mentioned this before, but I was built with like a good body. Like I feel like my body does everything correct. Like when I eat food, I shit it out. When I drink water, I piss it out. Like my body has been very like I got a good body. Like my body is almost like I would compare it to like a Toyota Corolla from like 97 or some shit that just like it does everything it does. Like if you change your oil, if you know like whatever get gas in it and like check your engine every so often, that shit can run for dumb long. And like knock on wood, I feel like my body is on some like Toyota Corolla, Mitsubishi that like I might make it to like 89 through 94 just because I could see like when people say like you know how you can like tell your body is good or whatever if it doesn't feel right or whatever. I'll eat mad pizza and I'll just shit it all out. Like I'll eat mad burgers and people are like, "Yo, you can't eat 11 White Castle burgers." It's like, "Yes, I can because tonight they're all coming out of me." So it's like my body hooks me up in that sense where like I think I got a good version of bodies where
Yeah,
like, I don't think I foresee anything really bad happening, and now I'm gonna get like the worst type of fucking like stage 4 or something because I just
well, I will back you up in that. Looking at your family,
yeah
I feel like the people in your family generally like they live a long time.
yeah yeah.
Like
My
your
grandma was here for a hot minute.
your grandma lived a really long time.
My
Um,
mom's in great shape. Like
your mom's in great shape. Your dad is up there in age too, and he's still kicking even though he's got a bad back.
yeah
You know, like, and there's something to be said about that where, you know, I feel like of all of our friends, you were the last one to have any sort of interface with death.
yeah
Like, it took a while before you actually had somebody who was in your family that was close to you that died.
yeah dumb
And
long.
that's good. It was good.
Yeah
You got to go a long ass time. You were in like your 30s or some shit before
Yeah
like your grandma died.
yeah
Meanwhile, like if you look at my family, shit, you had my grandma died when I was in my early 20s maybe.
damn
My grandfather died before I was born. Both of my grandfathers died before I was born.
yeah that's
My
wild.
dad died when he was 56 years old. Like my mom is chilling. My mom's
Yeah,
good,
your
but
mom's
like
like yeah she's a beast.
I've had uncles like uncles die. You would think, "Oh, uncle, like they'll be kicking for a hot
Forever.
minute."
Uncles universally live forever.
Exactly. Like, what are we talking about? No, I had an uncle die when I was like in my late teens or some shit. So like
Yeah
I experienced all that real kind of young, and so it felt like, damn, this is fucked up. And I know watching you and your family, it's like, oh, he's nobody dying. Like everybody's good, which is
yeah
great. That's awesome. It's good to have like really good genes like that you know, even if you eat like shit or whatever. It's like my factory setting is that I at least got to make it to like 83. You know, like that's my factory shit. Like I'm
yeah
good until like 83.
yeah. 83 I feel like is like definitely doable. Like I see shit now. Like I think my uncle is 80 something and like he's on a cruise with his wife and they're like, you know, doing shit. Like I feel like 83 now is almost like the new 50. You know, like
Damn. That's a stretch.
no, but like I feel like more like I feel like as time progresses, people are more aware of their health, more aware of their body. Like I feel like I mean, I don't take any medicine or do any of that shit, but like feel like just society like and I could be wrong. I don't know if people are living longer now or if people are still dying young. Do you know anything about those like numbers?
Well, recently the numbers have actually come down because
Oh,
of
for real?
COVID. So it's actually COVID and
Mm.
the opiate crisis, like the fentanyl
Oh shit.
crisis.
Yeah.
Because of that, I feel like we've lost like 3 or 4 years off the like how long Americans are living on average.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so we're not great. Like it's not great, but having said that, usually in a developed country like the men at least in the US, I feel like the men live to like 78 on average and the women live to like 82 or 83 on average. It was something like that.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
that's interesting. That's consistent that women live longer than men.
I believe it.
That's pretty consistent. And I wonder like what that is. I wonder if it's just is it that testosterone over a long period of time is really bad for you? Like is that what it is? Is it something else? I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I feel like women just, I mean, it's a weird dynamic because I was saying this to Molly because like Knicks is growing up in an age now where like you're starting to like develop some friends and you're start like girls, I feel like at a younger age, middle school, high school, they go through way more drama than boys do. Because I said this to
Yeah.
Molly, I was like, when I was young, like elementary school, middle school, like I never had beef with my boys. Like there,
Yeah.
it was never like, oh, Kyle's dating that girl. I don't like him
Right.
anymore. Like it
Yeah.
was like, oh, Kyle's dating that girl. That's what's up. Like she's dope. Like there was never any like. It's not on some girly shit where like it's like, oh, he likes that guy. I can't talk to him anymore. Or like, ooh, her hair looks so weird. I don't want to be her friend. And girls have way more of that drama stuff. But then I was gonna say, I also feel like girls have less stress in their life. Like women just like also don't care about stuff as much as men do. Like which is going against what I'm saying as a young age because boys don't care about shit, but they also like stress more about work, more about like taking care of their family, more about like car shit like bills, and
Yeah.
women are just more like I think more like free spirited, like we're good, we'll get stuff done, like don't stress about that, like you're good. So that I feel like is a reason why they tend to live longer because they're not as worried about shit as men is. But maybe that's a old school mindset of like a man household shit.
Yeah, in my life, in my experience, I feel like women just handle more shit. They
Yeah.
take
Oh.
care of more shit. Like when I think back, my dad earned the money, but my mom had to raise 2 kids, and then she even later on ended up getting a job, and she
Mhm.
had to pay the bills, and she had to keep the house functioning and all that stuff.
Dinner,
And
groceries, all that shit.
yeah, when I think of me and Crystal, like Crystal does way more shit than me in terms of like, doing the dishes. She does the laundry. She does the dishes. She takes care of this thing and that thing. And so, and
That's
it's
all
kind of consistent in my life because then I look at you and your relationship. I look at other friends and their relationships, and it's all the same. Like the women are like the hyper competent doers,
Yeah.
and all the guys like tend to, they have jobs, take care of whatever, but the women just do more of the shit. And so in a way that almost makes me feel like shouldn't it be then that the men live longer if the women are having to do more shit? But again, feel like it might be biological, like it might be sort of a genetic type thing where something about how we're physically made, it's just less healthy to be a man.
Yeah.
There might be some to that testosterone shit. I know it makes you more aggressive. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Like testosterone makes you more aggressive, makes
Yep.
you like more physical. You get more like muscle development. But in the long run, yeah, that could be fucking horrible. They did studies where they like, you know what a eunuch is? It's like back in the day they used to chop the dick and balls off of a guy and make the guy like this basically genderless thing. And
Oh, that's a real thing.
yeah, and they would live like a decade longer or some shit
I'm
than the
surprised that
men
hasn't
did.
come back around with like the whole LGBTQ community and like that being accepted.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up because eunuch. I feel like it was something that they did to men. It's not like they wanted to be a eunuch. Okay, a eunuch is a male who has been castrated. Historically, eunuchs served various roles, including guards and servants in harems, chamberlains in palaces, and even political officials. The practice of castration, which produced eunuchs, dates back to ancient times and was often used in cultures where there was a need to ensure loyalty, trust, and control, particularly in royal courts. So, in other words, like I said, they didn't choose to be eunuchs.
Yeah.
Like, the king was like, this motherfucker's going to be my eunuch, chop off his dick and balls.
Damn.
And so, yeah, but they would end up living like 10 years longer or something like that. And it's like, so it might literally have something to do with like your dick and your balls and your testosterone. You know what I'm saying?
How did they like? I got so many. Like, how did they pee? Like, how just like how did?
Maybe it was just their. Hold on, let me look it up. Was it?
And they
I
just
thought
got,
it was their dick and balls. Maybe it's just their balls.
Yeah, I feel like it would just have to be balls, but I feel like like, I mean, isn't that almost like neutering a dog?
Yes, but it says a castration is any chemical, surgical, or otherwise by which a male loses use of the testicles. Surgical castration is bilateral. Okay, so I might just be the testicles, not the dick. So you lose your dick, you lose your balls, but not your dick. Which I got a lot of questions for that scenario. If you lose your balls, but not your dick, if you lose your balls, do you still every now and then get horny? Because like you still got a dick, right?
Well, it's just, again, it goes back to the dog. When they get neutered, they still hump things. It's just like they can't.
But it is a lot less, right? They don't do it as much, right?
I almost feel like they do it more. I've never seen like a
No.
dog that's not neutered humping anything because every time I've seen a dog hump something,
Oh,
they're like,
not
"Oh,
neutered
he's."
dogs are a menace, bro.
Oh,
They
really?
fuck everything. Oh my god, they bust nuts everywhere. They fuck everything. They're
Oh,
horrible.
I just feel like maybe I'm just thinking of dogs that I've seen like humping teddy bears and stuff, and the owner would always just be like, "Oh, he's neutered. Don't worry about it."
But I'd imagine you'd get horny so much less if they chop your balls off, right? Because that's where all the magic happens. That's where all the fucking sperm is made. That's where a lot of the testosterone comes from. Like
Yes,
you're
I
not going to
feel
be
like
horny.
something's building up somewhere else. You know, like it's like building up in your thighs or something like that, where like it's just such a backup.
Nah.
It's just like a log jam of buildup that needs to
All
be
right, we're gonna
released.
look
That's
this up.
like
We're gonna look this up. The question is, if you get castrated, are you horny less often? The other one is, can you nut? That's
well,
another one. Oh yeah, okay. So it says yes, castration generally leads to a reduced sex drive
okay.
and ability to achieve an erection. This is because testicles are the primary source of testosterone. After castration, testosterone levels drop significantly, leading to a decrease in sex drive and the ability to have erections. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it goes down. But if you get castrated, here's the question now: can you still come?
I'm gonna say
Let's see. Yes, it is possible to ejaculate after castration, although the amount and composition of the ejaculate may be different. Yeah,
what
it
does it
can't
come
be.
out of your ears or something like that?
Well, it's just got to be like the stuff that you know how I forget what it's called, but like the stuff that comes out first, like the pre-cum stuff that like lubricates the fucking
Maybe.
urethra. I
Yeah.
feel like only that would come out. So it'd be like a clear liquid, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean that
You know
makes
what I'm
sense.
saying?
Yeah. I just feel like the punishments and like the shit that they did back in like the medieval times was so much it was so gruesome and it was so like why would you do that?
Bro, they're bringing that shit back, man. Like, whatever the worst shit you can imagine is, Trump's gonna try to bring it back.
It won't surprise me. I mean like he could do anything. He could really do like a public beheading. He could do like
Yep.
a hanging in
Uh-huh.
Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
and he would have people defending it. He'd have people behind him
Yep.
saying like
Yep. Had to
actually,
do it.
like we did it at one time. Why can't we do it again?
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy because yeah, he could do no wrong. But I like to living longer. I wanted to know what was up with Canada has their own little wildfires going on right now.
Yeah, they got wildfires going on right now, and the smoke is hitting like a bunch of areas in the Northeast.
And it's like it's bad, right?
Yeah, breathing in air like that for a really extended period of time, that takes years off your life, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like there's got to be probably when we had our wildfires in New York that was like or was it Canada again that was landing
I
in
think it was Canada, and it came to New York City, and New York City
Oh,
looked
okay.
like fucking Mars for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was New York. Yeah, Canada's like fucking up with their wildfires. Like they're on some
It,
California shit where they need to chill.
yeah, it's not just them. I mean, it happens in California too. I mean, this is what with climate change continuing to get worse, this is going to happen. You know, you have wetter wet seasons, drier dry seasons, and then
Yeah.
all it takes is one fucking lightning strike or one match on the ground and fucking forget it. Hundreds of thousands of acres go up in flames.
Ugh. Um, Trump, he like pardoned. Who were those two people he pardoned, like from a reality TV show or something like
Oh,
that?
Chrisley, something Chrisley. I don't know their names,
Did
but
they
something
not pay their
Chrisley.
taxes?
They did a whole bunch of criminal, fraudulent shit. One of them may have been taxes, might have been part of it, but they're scam artists. They had a show. I think it was on TNT because I remember when I used to watch NBA on TNT like years ago.
Yeah.
There'd be like Chris Lee Knows Best would come on right after it,
Oh,
and it
for
was
real?
those people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's so many. I try to. Anthony Davis had a like a punk type show. I don't know if you saw this.
Anthony Davis?
Yes, he had a. It was I forgot what it was called, but it was literally they try to do. They only did like 4 episodes or something like that because then he got traded to the Mavericks. But it was, I think they only aired one of the episodes. But he punked like Jared Vanderbilt on the Lakers, and then he punked Mookie Betts on the Dodgers. But it was like the most fake punk TV show ever. It was so bad. And then I like looked it up and they canceled it after one season. But there's so many shows that like those people that Trump pardoned. Like there's so many reality shows that is just garbage TV.
Bro, it's so true because like when we were younger, when the culture was more unified, there was a time where like being on TV mattered.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you were on the show Survivor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you were on the
Bro,
show,
there's 50 seasons of Survivor. You know that?
that's just crazy, bro. That's
50.
crazy. So if you were on Survivor, if you were on American Idol, if you were one of those shows, Real World, Road Rules, Jeopardy, like there were shits that everybody knew of these and everybody had seen them at one point or another.
Yep.
But to your point, now as time has gone by, there's so many channels and there's like so much shit on the internet and they just pack so many things full of slop. And so now there's like you told me Anthony Davis had a show. I'm like, Anthony Davis doesn't have a fucking show. What are you talking about?
Yep.
That's everything now. Like this Chris Lee show, nobody fucking watched that bullshit.
No.
But they were on TV and they committed crimes and they got arrested and now Trump freed them. Why? Because they probably paid Trump behind the scenes. I'm telling you, he's taking so much money from these people.
And he's getting paid by some of these people.
100%. There's no way he's doing this shit for no reason. Like he's getting paid, dog.
Yeah. And they asked him about Diddy, which like I
saw this.
I think he would get to a point where he would pardon him.
We are so vindicated. I've been saying so much that there's a non-zero chance he pardons Diddy, and yeah, that answer was him basically being like, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. We'll see. And
the only thing that
he's gonna pay him. He's gonna pay him a shitload of money, and he'll get out.
Yeah, I think he would pay him. But the only thing that made me a little skeptical was he threw a little doubt in there where he was like, he did say some bad things about me, but I don't know if he said them, but I saw them. So I think he was trying to give himself an out card of maybe not, pardoning him, but I think they were probably really close friends at one point. Like they were both running in the same circles in New York City.
They were. Yeah, that was him putting a feeler out there too. Like, yeah, if his team hears this, I'm letting you know it's on the table, but you just got to play ball.
Yeah.
And so Diddy's people will go to him and be like, "What do you want? Like, how much do you want?" And he'll be like, "$75 million," and they'll be like, "Okay,
got you."
Yeah, he'll do it. He'll do it. I haven't
been following that case too closely, but I don't know when a decision's going to come down. I don't know when a lot of these decisions are, like how long these cases usually take.
I feel like that case is going to last forever, the Diddy case, because they're trying to make like a RICO charge, which is like the shit they use for organized crime.
Oh.
So like they have to pull in so many different pieces of the puzzle, like they got to have all these people testify and they have everybody's stories and they got to have all the evidence and they probably found tapes and shit. Like it's a lot to make the case, you know? And then of course his defense is just going to be like, everything was consensual. Yeah, we partied a lot, but that's perfectly legal. Like, it's fine. You know? Like,
did you see Bill Maher's rant on it? That like basically
on Diddy? No, I didn't see.
Yeah, he was basically saying that Cassie, who was in the relationship with Diddy, was kind of she signed up for basically like everything she got, more or less. And
get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, it was like
no way.
Defending Diddy, saying like, you kind of know what you're getting into. You can get out of it at any point. No one was like,
that's not true. He's lying. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. There is video of Diddy beating Cassie's ass.
Yeah.
Guess what, Bill? She tried to get out of there. She tried to run away from him in a hotel. I think it was in Miami.
Yeah.
And his ass chased her down in a towel and beat the shit out of her in the hallway, you dumb bitch. Like, I hate... You know why Bill's saying that? Bill's saying that because he knows there's some Me Too shit on him out there also. Because he used to go to the Playboy Mansion all the fucking time.
So he's covered.
And there's like 10 to 15 Playboy bunnies out there who are like, I remember Bill Maher cornered me in in the Playboy Mansion hallway, and I remember he did this and this. I guarantee you that's what he's doing. Guarantee you that's what he's doing.
It could be, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's an angle because he was definitely saying like there's text messages of her saying like I can't wait for another what were his parties called?
Freak off, freak
Freak
off.
offs and stuff like that. He's like, you don't write that stuff if you're not, you know, willing to be a part of it or whatever.
Well, let me say this. Let me grant him that part of the argument. Was she consensually getting her ass beaten in the hallway in the Miami hotel? Did she sign up to get punched in the fucking face in a hallway in a hotel? This is why, like,
that's good.
People drive me crazy these days, man, because I remember there was a time where I genuinely felt like, yo, if you come correct, if you bring enough evidence, like, you can get everybody to agree. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was so naive of me. It literally doesn't matter. You could have an ironclad fucking perfect ass case, and there will be some contrarian asshole out there like, no, wrong, don't agree. And it's like, we're no longer functioning as a society. When you can see a woman get her ass beat in a hallway, and you go, well, there's two sides to the story, bro. There's literally nothing you could say. Once I see that evidence, once I see that video, there are literally no string of words you could put together that would make me say, oh, it's okay then. I don't give a fuck if she said, fuck you, fuck your mom, I hope she gets cancer, I hope she dies, I hope you die. I don't give a fuck what you say. She was running away, and he chased her down in a fucking towel and beat her ass.
Yeah, true.
Dog, that's it. Game, set, match. Checkmate. Over. Done. On that video alone, your ass should be locked up for decades, son.
Yeah.
What are we even talking about? And here's the reality. A guy who's capable of doing that, what he did to her in that video, is capable of doing anything. And there's speculation that he was the one who got Tupac murdered.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of dirt on this. Kid Cudi testified that he fucking blew up his car and ripped up open his presents going into Christmas Day. Like, what are we talking about here? The man is a fucking psychopath and a monster, and that's why Trump is probably going to pardon him.
Yeah. The one thing, and then I don't know, is the guy who asked him all these questions from the New York Times, the one that asked Musk a bunch of questions, he asked Trump. I think no, he didn't ask him the Trump always chickens out, but that one got me laughing too because like Trump started getting pissed on that one. That
yeah, I guess, like, it hit a soft spot, it hit a nerve.
So that's one that like I'm surprised they let that guy back into the White House to ask questions. He asked Musk about his black eye, and then he asked Trump about something. Is it?
He probably asked Musk about his drug use too.
Yeah, the drug use, and then that's when Musk started wilding out, saying like, "Next question, did you like was the New York Times won the Pulitzer Prize?" So I'm seeing that like he's out of government, but then also I think I saw a tweet of yours or something that like he's out just because they're investigating some of his companies or something.
No, he's out for the optics. So like he already did the shit he wanted to do, which is he stole everybody's data in the whole country. Hacked into the treasury, stole everybody's data. He destroyed all the government agencies that regulate him and his businesses. He destroyed them, defunded them, crushed them. And so all that is done. So that's victory for him.
Yeah.
And he's leaving, but not only is he leaving, he's still got people that he planted in all the agencies that are still doing Doge type work.
Yeah.
In fact, Wired reported on that there's all these agencies that are still facing these illegal cuts because Doge people are there making the cut still. And so really this is just for optics because what Trump realized and all the other Republicans realized is that this guy is fucking toxic as hell. Nobody likes him. Everybody hates him. When he's involved in some shit, people immediately turn on him. That's why that Republican lost by double digits, even though Musk put millions of dollars into that race in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So, like, they realize, like, oh, shit. The other thing is he's really bad at stepping on toes. So, like, he would do all these fucked up things, and, like, the head of the Secretary of Transportation would be like, you just fired all the flight safety officials, and there were a bunch of plane crashes. You didn't even run that shit by me. I'm the cabinet head. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And Musk would be like, fuck you. It's my decision. I do what I want.
He got into a fight with Rubio, too, right?
Got into a fight with Rubio, got into a fight with Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary.
Stephen Miller, he's banging his wife.
Steve Miller banging his wife. Exactly. That's literally, I think that's true. And that's why I think he's got the black eye. But like, Yeah, so like all the groundwork is laid. They're still going to be doing Doge shit, but him and Trump had like a hey, you got to be in the background. Like I can't have you being in the front anymore. And that's a victory for what it's worth, but also it's still as long as the horrible shit is still going on, which it is, that's terrible. The only upside is Elon really tarnished his reputation publicly. So I really think his businesses are sort of fucked. I really think they're fucked. He had the third, he launched a Starship the other day. That shit exploded too. That's 3 in a row that exploded.
Seriously?
Yeah, 3 in a row exploded.
Are there
And
people
by
on
the way,
this
they
or no
lie about
people?
it too. No people on it.
Oh, okay.
But they lie about it too. They called it like a rapid, unscheduled disassembly instead of an explosion. It's like, fuck you guys, man. You're such bullshitters.
And I hadn't even like heard too much about it. I didn't know if like is anyone really reporting on that shit?
Yeah, when it happened, there were reports on it, but it wasn't as big anymore because after the first and second explosion, people are just like, yeah, his shit explodes. Like, what do you?
And he's still
But his businesses are cooked, bro. Tesla's cooked, down 71%.
yeah.
They can't sell Cybertrucks for shit anymore. Like, I really think his businesses are about to go under. He's going to have to move on, and he'll try this to a new scam. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he does a heel turn or a face turn soon and pretends like, oh, I'll tell the truth about everything Trump's doing and trying to get back in the liberals' good graces.
Well, I saw he did an interview with 60 Minutes, and supposedly they were like supposed to be able to ask him anything. And the
And then
reporter was like, "Oh, I thought
piped up.
everything was on the table," and he was like, no."
No, it's not.
And
Yeah.
then they said he started getting into Trump and some of the like governmental stuff, but
Yeah. Did
it
you
wa-
see the article about how many drugs he takes?
no, but
Bro, it is crazy, dog. Like it is literally like he can die like soon. It's that bad.
like
First of all,
hard
if you
drugs or like what are the drugs to do? Like
hard drugs. So first of all, if you just look at him, you could tell it looks like he's aged 15 years in like a year.
yeah, well, and
Like
just
his
his
face
like
is all wrinkly.
I know his like he's got weird like autism type stuff, but like just his like mannerisms are I feel like are getting a
Yeah,
lot worse.
they are, and that's the ketamine. So like his face is really pale. He's got wrinkles. He's got that black eye. He just looks like aged,
Yeah.
right? Turns out he's taken ketamine. He's taken so much ketamine that it's fucking up his bladder. Apparently, that's a problem. That if you take too much ketamine, your bladder gets all
Is
fucked up.
ketamine an upper like how does a
Ketamine is like
billionaire even do that or why would he even do that?
so ketamine's like an animal tranquilizer,
Damn.
and it is used in rare circumstances. If like other treatments aren't working for depression, some people will do ketamine treatment
Oh,
for
wow.
depression. But when they do it, it's only like you do like one session every month or something,
Mhm.
right? This motherfucker's doing ketamine like every day, homie.
That's wild.
Every day, and he's doing a lot of it every day. And so, high as fuck on ketamine. At the same time, he's taking Adderall, which is basically like legal cocaine. He's taking psilocybin mushrooms, which is a psychedelic drug, those are the sorts of drugs that like make you see shit that's not there, right? Then they said in the article, he has a pouch he carries around that has 20 different pills in it. Bro,
He's like a 90-year-old grandma with like her medicine that she needs.
cooked. He's so cooked. And so like they said that if you're high on ketamine, like it can be a euphoric feeling where you kind of feel like you're a god.
Yeah.
And if you look at his actions, there were so many times he was doing shit where it's like you don't realize that like you look psychotic right now, like when he was cutting pediatric cancer research and then like doubled down on it, cut all the USAID shit. And so 300,000 people already fucking died because they took away the malaria medication, the HIV medication. Like, he seems like he felt like there are no consequences for my actions ever. And it's like, homie, I hate to tell you, we're all fucking taking notes and we all hate your bitch ass now. And it all caught up with him. It all caught up.
Well, there can't be any person close to him that's telling him that a decision he's doing is bad or he shouldn't do something. You know, at that point of your career, or when you have that much money, when you have that much power, like who's going to tell you and who are you going to listen to? You know, Trump's not
That's
going
right.
to tell
Kanye
him that.
syndrome.
Like, and even if Trump did tell him that something was wrong, oh, maybe he would listen to Trump.
No, he wouldn't. It's like Kanye syndrome. Same
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Do you think there was any way to talk Kanye down? Even if you reeled him in, let's say you successfully reeled him in like 25%. What does that get you?
Nothing.
He still ruins his career.
Yeah.
You know? Like when you're saying you're a Nazi and you're wearing a black KKK outfit and you're rapping about how much nitrous you do, like talking about how you can't see your kids. Like what? Like hanging out with fucking Nick Fuentes, like a well-known Nazi. Like, what do you think is gonna happen, you dumb bitch? like, of course, even if somebody were to correct you, 1 out of every 4 things, somebody can talk you down from the ledge. The other 3 things are gonna cook you. You're done.
Yeah, yeah, and I just feel like with Musk, I feel like any type of person at that level, there's always, and I spoke about this with Jed, there's always like a get out of jail card. You know, like if he can't unload his Cybertrucks here in the US, every one of that line thing in Saudi Arabia or something like that will buy all of his trucks from him. Like they'll find a way
Funny you say that.
to
Yeah,
like
because
sell his
that's what
shit.
because Trump is doing exactly what you're saying.
That's what I'm
Like
saying. So
Trump,
if it doesn't
Trump is
work
doing
here,
a scam coin.
yeah,
And so he's robbing people that way. But to your point, he literally went to Saudi Arabia and to Qatar and to all these like Middle East dictatorships. And they're basically like, we'll give you however much money you fucking
that's
want.
what I'm
Just let
saying.
us
Like at that
do whatever
point,
we want.
yeah,
Yeah, he can get bailed out is your point. And he definitely can get bailed out. But I think the damage he's done to his public
oh, he's stuck
persona,
here. Yeah,
that is like that the public is never going to accept you. I mean, he went from being one of the most beloved billionaires. He had like
yeah,
a 60% approval rating because he was behind the scenes mostly, and he only had like newspapers would do like puff pieces on how brilliant he
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
But as soon as he got in front of the cameras, as soon as he started like letting it all hang out, now he's got a worse approval rating than Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was president for 4 fucking years.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're cooked, bro. It's over.
Yeah, it's
So many Republicans are trying to pull off Trumpism. Like they're trying to be like Trump. But what they're realizing is there's only one Trump.
yeah,
There's only one Trump who can seemingly say whatever the fuck and still have his cult of people who support him. It happened recently. I don't know if you saw this. There was a Republican senator, Joni Ernst, and she said she was at some town hall event. And somebody was questioning her on the Medicaid cuts. Like, hey, you know, people are going to die from these Medicaid cuts you're doing, right? And she goes, well, we're all going to die someday. That was her reaction. And then, so there was a big firestorm over that.
yeah.
Then a day later, she releases a video and she like fake apologizes. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I said that. Psych, bitch. I'm not sorry." And she was like,
Wait, so she was
yeah.
apologizing, or she was
No, it was
doubling down?
sarcastic. Like she was fake apologizing. She started out like it was a real apology. Then as she kept talking, you realized, oh my god, she's not apologizing. She was saying like, apparently everybody didn't know that we're all gonna die someday. Well, we are gonna die someday. And guess what? The tooth fairy's also not real. It was like, yo, you can't pull this off. Like you just lost your next election, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but only Trump could get away with saying some shit and then doubling down, and then it somehow works. Like when you say it, like even the Trump people are like, "Yo,
You look stupid.
you're
Yeah,
making us look bad. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, yeah, he's the only one that can do that. But there's like I've seen a lot more people try to be on their like gangsterness, and one that is really bothering me is Jake Tapper. Like he's going around on some like
Oh my god, yes, you're so right.
like he's on his like why would everybody listen to the media type of thing, and everybody's like, yo, you were the guy telling us all this shit, now you're trying to sell a book, and now you're gonna be this badass, like people are coming after you. It's like, no, they should be coming after you because you were the propagandist that was saying all this stuff. So like he was on Mar and he was pissing me off, and then he was on something else saying all this shit. Like it's just when it's convenient for them to like make money off a book or like go against like the grain, they'll do that. But when they're working for a company, just like anybody would, like I wouldn't talk bad about a company I worked at, and then if I left, they fired me. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna talk bad about them. It's like stop playing us, you know. And he's one that's doing that hard right now. And I hope nobody buys his book. But at the end of the day,
I'm covering that tomorrow, by the way. The Jake Tapper thing, he was on Mar's show. I saw some clips from that. It pissed me the fuck off, too. I'm talking about it tomorrow. But let me tell you what his move is. So what he likes to do, he doesn't like to be pigeonholed as Democrat or Republican or liberal or conservative. So what he does is he'll always have these moments where he tries to, like, basically be a thorn in the side of the team he normally cheers for. Right, so like he normally cheers for the Democrats, but under Obama he did this big shtick about like the debt and the deficit, and it's so horrible, and how could you let the debt and deficit get this bad, right? Under Biden and Trump now, his big shtick is like he normally is Team Democrat, but now to be like, no, I'm an objective journalist. I'm not like the partisan hacks. He's doing this thing where it's like, oh my God, bro, Joe Biden was actually really old, and they really fucking hid that shit from us, and he was struggling. But guess what? I got a book, and in the book I tell all the stories about just how fucking old he was, and like. So this is him trying to be an enlightened centrist. in today's day and age. But the reason why that's going to fail so fucking hard is that there's literally no more room for centrism right now. Like, it really is. You're either with Trump or you're against Trump.
Yeah.
Like, the lines are so fucking clear. You can't do some weird ass, I'm going to try to straddle the middle type shit. Because what happened was, he used to have good ratings on CNN. Then he started hawking this book everywhere, and his audience collapsed. Now, in his dumbass mind, he thinks, oh, but I'm doing a book tour where I'm bashing Biden, and so I'm going to get, like, Republicans to watch my show. No, you're not, bitch. They're watching Fox News. They're watching Newsmax. They're watching One American News. They are not watching your ass because, 70% of the time you say shit that pisses them off. Yeah, 30% maybe you say something they like with this Biden shit. But that's not enough to get them to watch. So he's torching his own reputation. He's torching his audience. All so that he could do this shtick of like, I'm not like the other Democrats, bro. Look, I'll tell you that Biden was old and he wasn't fit. But like you said at the time, you were fucking cheerleading that motherfucker. I was a critic of Biden, but I was saying that motherfucker is way too old, way before anybody in mainstream media was saying he was too old. It's just so hacky. To your point, it's so fucking hacky.
Yeah. But again, and I don't know how this always happens, but any mainstream person who writes a book, that shit always ends up on the New York Times bestseller list. Like, negative 17 people could buy a book, and they'll still be like, oh, fucking Wolf Blitzer's book is #1 on the New York Times bestseller. Like, Rachel Maddow's #1. Like, there's people out there that just buy that book. And I don't know who the fuck still buys books, but if you go into Barnes & Nobles or whatever, I don't even know if Barnes & Nobles is still around, but, like, the bestsellers, it'll be some shit like Bill Clinton's book, Hillary Clinton's book. And, like, people buy that shit and just... I don't know what they learn from it, because they're all hacks. They're all fucking like just telling you bullshit, but their books always sell. And then like there's someone, I'm trying to think of someone else who wrote it. Like, I don't know if Bernie's a New York Times bestseller?
Probably
Okay.
was.
Well, that's good at least then.
Normally I've talked about this on my show too. You know what the conservatives do to guarantee that they'll be on the New York Times bestseller list?
No, what?
They'll release a book. And then there's like all these right-wing think tanks that are funded by billionaires. One of them is called the Heritage Foundation. Another one's called the American Enterprise Institute. So you get these like super wealthy billionaires have these like Republican think tanks where they like publish, here are the policies we want and stuff. And a Republican commentator will release a book, and then the think tank will buy hundreds of thousands of those books. And then the next time they have some event, some gathering or whatever, they just hand them out.
Oh, wow.
And so that guarantees that, like, when Bill O'Reilly used to release a book, or Rush Limbaugh, or Sean Hannity, or Mark Levin, they would immediately be, like, top 10 like that. And then once you're top 10, then they got to review your shit and write an article on it. You get people talking about it. You can say, I got a New York Times bestseller. Like success breeds more success. And so when you pretend like it was already successful, but it's totally astroturfed, it's totally fake, but then they force it into the public consciousness by doing those tricks. And that's something that, the left has never been able to do, because we don't have big money think tanks on the left. There are no billionaires funding left-wing think tanks that say, hey, I want to take all that billionaire's money and redistribute it,
That's such a cheating the game, man. Like, that's
what it is, bro. That's what it is. They cheat.
Up.
I know.
I wish I could do that shit. I would write a book and just fucking have like that's fucked up. There's no like, left-wing tanks or whatever like that would have like your back on something where they're like, yo, Kyle, just write a book on like your childhood, and then that shit just goes crazy.
Yeah, no. For anybody who has to make it in new media, not backed by big money, that's literally all like ground up. You got to do your fucking bet. Like, I would have to release it and promote the shit out of it to sell like a decent amount. And even then, I probably wouldn't be on the New York Times bestseller list. I could
like
maybe force my way to like 100K total book sales, but like that would be like I have to mention it every time I open my fucking mouth type shit.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I would. I would read that shit. But anyway, I try to cut my hair, and I just gave my shit the fucking Kim Jong-un, bro. Like.
Well, first of all, you just took your hat off, so like you didn't style it. You know what I'm saying?
But
so what connection did you use for the sides?
Well, I try to do. They have this thing in my clipper bag with a left ear trim and a right ear trim.
Okay.
And literally, you just go there. But I started doing it, and then I just kept going higher and higher, and it's the top that I kind of can't really Judge.
So first of all, you didn't really do a bad job at all on the sides. The sides look pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Um, what I would do to touch it up is you either got to take some scissors and just soften out the middle, the
Yeah, that
middle top
it's
of the crown a little bit,
this spot right
or
here.
yeah, or you could take a bigger connection, like a 5 connection or something, and use that and just go straight up in a line.
Okay.
And so then it won't look like this anymore. It'll be more like smoothly rounded off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's part of the learning process. I
I
mean, for you
know.
cutting your hair for your first time, it's not like it takes a while before, okay, I really feel comfortable and confident doing this. You
It's
know what I'm
just
saying?
it's so easy to like get carried away with how high you go because you're like, all right, I did the bottom, and then it's like one boom up a little bit, and you do a little too much or a little too high, and then you just keep going, and then it's
So
like,
there's a trick I could teach you for that, which is for me, the fade is perfect, just the width of the fucking attachment of the clipper, the width of it.
yeah,
And so I'll take it and I'll go literally from behind the ear. I'll start like here and I'll go like this forward all the way to the crown of the head right there.
oh, and
And
that's
that
the only
length at
level.
the first, that's as high as I go. And so then I take the one and I do everything underneath that. The back is a little harder because I always do a little bit of a drop fade. I don't do
Yeah,
like a hat, like straight across hat fade. I do like a drop fade a
I
little
give you
bit. So
credit
you
for
got to
even
be
doing the back because I was like, I'm not even trying to go back there.
you gotta, the back is, it takes a little more time to get that, you gotta drop it a little bit, but basically I have my guideline when I do that, and then once I do the guideline, everything else is easy. Then you just do the one underneath, and then up top you play with it, right? Like you say, oh, let me try a 5 first up here. Okay, I'll do the 5. Then I could go to a 4 there, then you go to a 4. It's just, you gotta like play with it. It's a little science, it's a little art, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You just gotta play with it. But bro, if you keep doing it though, you'll save yourself so much money. I mean, I don't know how much a haircut costs nowadays because I haven't paid for one in a fucking decade. But
$45, bro. Like,
$45 for a haircut is wild, bro. Because I mean, ideally, what you get a haircut once a month, $45 times 12. That's a lot of fucking money for the course of a year. You
yeah,
know, like you save so much money just by doing it yourself. And then once you know how to do it yourself, you could even like touch it up every week. So it's like you never leave yourself. Oh, I
yeah,
got to do all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you could stay on top of it, almost like you do when you shave your face or whatever.
yeah. Well, I haven't done
Yeah,
that in a minute. I feel like, yeah, just super grizzly, and like, so at my gym they have razors, and I'll try to like touch it up here.
line it up. Yep.
Now I started doing that it's like growing back here, whereas before it didn't as much. So like now I get like more hair on my face. So I'm always curious, like if I started shaving higher and higher, would I get like hair on these spots here that have no hair at all?
It's crazy because they say it's a myth that once you cut the hair, it grows back thicker. But in my experience, it's not. Like I feel
Really?
the same as you that like sometimes after I do it, it'll come back thicker. You
Yeah.
know. So like I don't know, but it's super important. If like doing your beard is a good place to start though, because I feel like that's easier than the hair, and so you can get used to lining it up. You could also fade it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you fade your beard, it actually looks really good.
But it grows
You
back
know.
so fast that like when I touch this up, literally 2 days later, like it starts coming in already. And then it's
That
like I'll get
that's a
like,
you problem, dog. I don't have that same. I don't have the same facial hair you do. I have like a much. My facial hair takes a lot longer to grow in. It's a lot patchier, you know. Like you can still see my look. Like you could see my cheek still. I have facial hair, but you could see my cheek underneath it.
yeah.
I never had the ability to like fully, get a beard where it's like you can't see my face anymore.
Yeah, that
Which
yeah.
I'm kind of jealous of, to be honest, because I feel like if you were to go to a dope barber, they could really make your beard look like super on point. You know?
Yeah. Yes, and also no, because in like 2 days, then it's like all that time they spent crafting the beard, it's a wrap. Like it'll look like this again. And it's to
Yeah,
a
it comes
point
back
where it's
fast.
like I wake up and I got so much other shit that I have to do that I'm like, I don't want to spend 20 minutes in my bathroom, which one, the hair will like my sink, I still haven't figured out, and this is wild. I've been in my house for a year. I haven't figured out my shower knobs. They don't say hot or cold on it. I can't figure out for the life of me the perfect configuration of my hot and
Oh my
cold
god.
on the shower. So it's really fucking me up because every time I go in the shower, this shit is blazing hot, and you have to reach in a little bit through the water to turn
Mm-hmm.
it, and it takes
Mm-hmm.
me a good like 2 burns on my arm before I can like get the water perfect. So I don't know what I have to do because I still can't figure out if the right. I'm starting to get it a little bit. I think the right side might be hot, so I might have to just like with a Sharpie put like an H on there and
Yo,
seal the other shit.
I hate shit like that where it doesn't say the hot or the cold. I hate that too.
And
Because
it's
like,
not even like it was once there where I could look really closely
right?
and see it. That shit looks like it was never there. And a year, I'm telling you, I can't figure out. And usually, like, at some point, you'll figure out, like, I know how much I have to turn it to get it to be the hot stage where I can adjust it a little bit to eventually get to my level. But I still, when I initially turn it on, don't, because I can't do it all the way, because if I don't do it enough, then the shower, well, the water pressure isn't as good. And that, for the life of me, I can't figure out the fucking perfect temperature, man.
Yeah, to all people in our audience who have to design some shit, if you're if you're doing showers or fucking sinks, or always put the hot and the cold. I hate that. I feel like it's like an attempt to be artsy, to be like, we're not putting the H or the C. It's like, fuck you, put the H or the C, bro.
Or like,
Bro, I'm the worst. Usually when I'm at a hotel, I have to call in Crystal, or if I'm staying with you, call you in to be like, yo, how do I start the shower? Like, I don't even know how to start the shit. You know?
Yo, so I think my shower was built when my house was built in like 1950 or something like that. I have like a
Damn.
baby blue ass tub. The tiles are
Yeah,
like
that shit is old school.
baby blue, which one, I don't know why the fuck that was once a color. You know, like why that was.
1950s, dog.
But like
1950s, 1960s in this
even the
bitch.
50s, like who the fuck was like baby blue's our color? Like,
Bro, styles change so hard. Like, it's sort of crazy. But it's the same thing with clothing, right? Like, you and me would be like, there's no way that shit is going to make a comeback. Then it makes a comeback. And you're
Yeah.
like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm the sort of person who, I'll be so stubborn when I find some shit I like, I'll rock it until the next time it becomes popular.
yeah.
I'll go through 2 decades of this shit, people being like, what the fuck is he wearing? And then they'll be like, oh shit, that's what's up. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
But that's
it works like that
commendable,
with
'cause it's like
housing too.
you don't change with it.
You know what's crazy? Like, so this isn't really new, but for the past decade, I want to say, the big trend when people build houses is what's called open concept.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to have it so like everything is in one room, or as few rooms as possible, right? Like you put the living room and the kitchen open so that you could see the living room from the kitchen and vice versa.
Yeah.
But like, I know that became real popular, but like in my mind, I'm thinking, I kind of would rather have more separate rooms. Like, I want different spaces for different shit. And when I'm in a space, I want it to feel like comfy and cozy. I don't want it to feel like it's this big ass, open ass space.
Yeah.
Which is like sterile and not comfy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like, I never understood, like, and I've been waiting, bro. I've been waiting like, yo, is it going to make a comeback now where people have separate rooms instead of this open concept shit? And I don't know if it came back. I used to watch HGTV. I haven't watched it in like 3 years now. But like, so they got to make a comeback. The different rooms has to make a comeback. Like, that shit was better, in my opinion, than the giant open concept bullshit.
1,000%. I agree with you. I don't know what certain rooms. So like the kitchen, I know Molly always says like she wants a big island kitchen, and she wants to be able to. So our room or our house is super old school. So it's to your point. It's like our kitchen. There's a dining room. And the dining room opens up into like the living room space, but then there's a downstairs like playroom type of spots. It's very like every room has its walls and that's its shit. But yeah, she wants like for our kitchen to like break down the wall and be able to see into like the playroom. And like I get it, yes, for a kitchen.
Just
because,
for looking after the kids, I understand that.
for that. But to
For
your
practical
point,
reasons, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, I used to love. We had an apartment in White Plains. And there was our living room, but then there was like one room that was almost just like my man cave type shit. And it like, it literally like felt like a cave. Like, like when I was in there, I was like, no one could just pop in this shit. Like I could just go to the corner of the couch and like, I'm in a room. I don't want to be like chilling, watching some shit in an open ass space and someone like, oh, you're watching that show? I remember like, it's like, no, I'm in my own space. Let me fucking be. So yeah, I don't know the reasoning behind, that open layout type of shit, but that sounds to me like fucking horrible.
And to your point, like I'm also a huge fan of finished basements.
Oh yeah.
Like I hate it when the basement is some dingy ass.
That's how my shit is. It's not finished.
Like I get like for practical reasons, people would just have the basement be like that. They got the boiler down there, or whatever the fuck. Like I get it. Like that was just how houses were. Like it wasn't even a thought to like, oh, let's finish the basement. But when somebody decides, oh, I'm gonna make this basement a room, dog.
Game changer.
And I'm gonna put a carpet. I'm gonna put a big screen TV. We're gonna
Some
put
neon
a pool
shit
table.
on the wall.
It put a little have a little bar there, a little fucking refrigerator. Like once you finish a basement, immediately that skyrockets to like this is the best spot in the house, in my opinion.
Yep.
And it's funny because like my mom, for example, she always hated basements, even if they're finished. She just hates basements. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's underground or there might be like bugs or whatever the fuck down there. But I hate bugs too. But I'm like, yo, finished basements are the shit. Because to your point, that's when I can make a man cave. I could just make a chill spot. It's like a little fucking haven. The other thing is, and you know this better than anybody, like the temperature is perfection in the basement.
And the
Every time
darkness.
of the year, bro. The darkness, you could sleep for days down there. The
Days.
best sleeps of my life I had in my basement in New Rochelle, in the basement, you know, where we grew up. Like I would sleep, bro. There are times I slept so hard and I'd wake up and I'd look at the clock and that shit would say 5 o'clock and I'd be like, I genuinely don't know if that's 5 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
I don't know. And you're just out, bro. I'm telling you, walking into a finished basement in the middle of summer and it's 90 degrees outside and you go in the basement, you get a crispy ass 66 degrees hit you on. You're like, oh,
Yep.
It's just amazing. It's just perfect.
I still remember. I mean, and I was at your house a lot in middle school, and we would always chill in the basement. And like that was the spot we watched shows. We'd go on the computer. We'd play pool, cards, whatever. There was one time we were like on a Denzel Washington like kick, and we were watching Denzel Washington movies. And for whatever reason, I think we were watching the movies like in your living room upstairs. And I was like, why aren't we watching this shit like down in the basement? Like this shit just doesn't like, and that's the spot where you should watch movies, like in a living room.
Mm-hmm.
Like the couch was comfy, like it was dope, like the TV was big. But I was like, this doesn't like this shit would be hitting so much better if it was in the basement.
That's right. You're so right.
And anybody who's been in anyone's basement, like I still remember going to my cousin's house in Long Island. They had like they were into gymnastics. He had like a pommel horse shit in his basement. Like they had some other gymnastics shit. They had a ping pong table. Those were my best memories. Was like walking down the steps, some carpeted shit, and then just like playing in the basement.
So true.
You could have anything down there.
So true.
And it's one thing that like my crib now, to your point, like there's a boiler down there, the washer and dryer is down there, and it's not finished. But like it's almost the spot without even anything being finished down there.
Oh, and if you were to finish it in like the cheapest way possible, it would still be expensive. It would still be expensive.
Yeah.
But you could, maybe if you go to a Goodwill and they got some rusty ass couch that they got out there.
I have all my sports memorabilia. I could put that shit on the wall. Like,
get the cheapest carpet at the store. Have that shit put down. Just get the cheapest paint you could find and just paint the walls.
I know.
Put a used couch in that bitch. Get a used TV in that bitch. Maybe all in you can get out spending $3,000 to like finish the basement. And that's steep as fuck. But you would get so much use out of that. You'd be down there all the time, dog.
That would be
the best. Speaking of my basement, do you remember when me and you were never really big on smoking weed?
Yeah.
Like I never really liked it that much.
Nah.
But having said that, there was one time where we did it where I felt like it was like actually a good time. Like I didn't get paranoid or anything like that. And I feel like it was you, me, I want to say Henry, Jose. Remember Jose from back in the day? And maybe Alex and one other person. And we smoked weed on my back porch, and then we went in the basement. And all I remember from doing it was that we literally laughed for like 2 hours, and none of us could even remember why we were laughing.
I think I do remember that.
Like we started, one person started laughing, and somebody else started laughing, and then we just laugh, and then eventually you'd be like, yo, why are we laughing? And nobody knew, and that would make us laugh even more. That was one of the best memories of that basement. There's a lot of good memories in that basement.
A lot.
And that's still the same, by the way. That house has been sold like 3 or 4 times, but nobody has ever changed the basement at all.
That's what's
so the basement's the same. The only thing is that the big ass, old ass TV is not down there anymore. The old screen, big screen TV, which is like huge. It has a huge back to it. That's gone. And obviously the computer's gone because the computer was from fucking 1998 or whatever the fuck. But outside of that, the pool table's still there.
Damn.
It's the same floor. You know, the couch, it might even be the same couch, dog.
That would be crazy. That would be
that couch was comfy as fuck.
Yeah, when you get to a point, and I see this with people with like, when they reach like like they're like multi-billionaires, they'll go back and like find the serial number on like their old Oldsmobile that they were driving in high school or some
Mm,
shit. When you get to a point where you're well off enough where you can find that couch and bring it to whatever crib you're living in, you got to do that because that couch used to just put you in the butter zone. Like wherever you sat on it, you could be. There's like memes of like where would you sit? Like where's the perfect spot to sit on the couch? That shit, I feel like wherever you sat, like sometimes I would get there late and someone would be in the corner pocket, someone would be like in the other corner pocket, and you would just have to sit in like that middle arch zone. Even if you sat there, you were still in the butter zone. Like you were
yeah,
that there's some couches, and shout out to like old school couch, or if you find the right couch, if you find the wrong couch, that could throw you off because couches are
big
not
time,
cheap.
big time.
And
Yeah.
and Bob's Furniture, shout out to Bob's Furniture. They do like this thing called the pit where they'll just have like extra shit in there. It'll be like random colors or shit people
Mm-hmm.
returned or like
Mm-hmm.
it might be missing like the middle fucking something or other. But some of those shits are mad comfy.
Bro, there
You
is
got
no
blessed with every
connection.
couch.
There's no connection between price of the couch and how comfortable it is.
Yeah.
With like a lot of shit, it's like the more you spend, the better it is.
Yep.
Like that's true. But with couches, no connection. You
That's
could
such a
get
good point.
to get the comfiest couch for a cheap amount because in their minds they're thinking like, yeah, this it was like cheap materials or whatever that were used to make it. But sometimes those cheap materials feel good as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Like they might wear easily if you have a dog that scratches it or whatever, it might scratch easy or whatever, but like the shit is comfy as fuck.
Yeah.
I
You
used
just
to sleep in the basement. I would like be like 50-50. Like 50% of the time I'd sleep in my room, 50% of the time I'd sleep in the basement.
Yep.
Because the basement was just that comfy. The couch was just that comfy and I'd
Yep.
sleep so well down there.
Yeah, that's how I am now. We got a good couch, but we got this one thing that's kind of like a I don't know if it's like kind of like a love seat, but it's kind of like a square shape and you could fit two people on it and it's like a
Mhm.
bigger couch.
Yeah, it's a love seat probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll sleep on that shit and I'll kind of stuff the corner with some like blankets and like a little mini pillow under it. And I'll sleep there till like 2 in the morning and then go into my bed. But for some reason that shit is just like however I'm configured, left side or right side, I just get butter sleep. It's just it's the perfect couch. And every time someone sits on it, they're like, yo, I kind of like this. And you got to kind of like shimmy into like the back of it.
Mhm.
But like once someone shimmies into that spot, they're kind of like, yo, it just feels right.
I'm so picky with my pillow configuration.
Yeah, same.
So tell me what you do, because I start out the night with like a lot of pillows behind me. Like I might have 4.5 pillows. I'll have like a little tiny little pillow I could put by my neck and then have like 3 underneath.
Got the next shit.
And I'm laying back and then usually I'll fall asleep in that position. But then usually as the night goes on, without me even realizing it, like I start shedding pillows, and then like by the morning I'm sleeping like on one pillow.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I like gradually go down as the night goes on, but I need to start falling asleep
Higher
with a
up.
lot of pillows behind me, and I
Yeah.
need to get in just the right position where I'm chilling, because there's so many ways you can configure 4 pillows where it feels like this doesn't feel right.
Yep.
So you got to work it until like oh this is it. I got the right position.
Yep. Yeah. It's there's an art to having the right pillow like formation, configuration, or whatever. Right now I used to have 2 like fluffy shits plus a neck joint. So it would be the 2 fluffy shits and
That
then
sounds solid.
the next shit would like pick up the separation between the 2
Mhm,
pillows because it was a
mhm.
little high. But now I'm down to just 1 pillow and the next shit is kind of like it's like on a slant, so it's kind of like the wedge in between it,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
that's been butter. And then sometimes I'll fold it over to like prop my neck up a little bit more, and that's been good. But I've got one like Old Faithful. It's not even a full pillow. It's just a square. Like it's supposed to be for the back,
Mhm.
almost like the lumbar support shit. It's got a
Mhm.
little like hitch in it, but I use that for my neck. If I lost that shit, I feel like I would never sleep again.
Bro, let me tell you, from somebody who lost their like Old Faithful pillow,
Yeah.
don't ever lose that shit. I feel
No.
like my mom threw out my Old Faithful pillow at some
Yeah,
point,
can't do
because to be fair to her, like if you were to take the sheet off the top, that shit was disgusting underneath. Like it had
that. I don't
stains
even
from
want to
Lord
look
only
at some
knows.
of my some of those
Bro,
like uh, some of those pillows you take the pillowcase off, that shit is like browning yellow, like fucking
disgusting.
like
I
got, like,
swear,
sweat stain cloud marks.
I probably threw up on that pillow when I was like 4 years old.
Yup.
Like I'm talking the stains on that bitch are like legendary.
Yup.
But it was the perfect like size this way
Perfect.
because I feel like all the pillows that I like if I see a new pillow, I try a new pillow today. It's always like sort of big,
Yeah.
but then really like puffy and squishy.
Yep.
And this pillow was like the polar opposite, where it was like kind of thin, but it had a little bit of like resistance to it type shit.
That's a good one.
And so at some point, my mom threw it out. And then literally to this day, I have not been able to find like that's the special one right
Yeah,
there.
she kind of
And I've even looked too, like, oh, let me get a skinnier. Doesn't matter. They're
Nothing.
trying too hard, bro. They're trying too hard. Some of they're like too fluffy, too puffy, too like they're trying to make it feel trying to do too much. Like give me a old faithful shit that's like kind of tough but skinny, because that's the exact one I need at the top of my shit.
Yep.
You know?
You know a pillow is going to be a banger when occasionally you'll get like one or two feathers that like kind of pop out of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know like that pillow's been through the ringer. And if it's still standing strong and you just get like one of the little feathers like popping out of that shit, that's a good pillow. And another thing, and I give this guy credit because I mean I know his politics or whatever, but like I haven't tried a Mr. Pillow. And I know we talked
Oh,
about
My Pillow, you mean?
My
Pillow, the
Mr.
crazy
Pillow,
guy?
whatever the fuck his name is.
I think
but,
it's
like,
My Pillow. Yeah.
My Pillow. That shit must be a banger. Low key.
Because they're still selling even though he's a psycho. Is that why?
Well, and like he built his whole company off of one pillow. It's got
good ass
like,
point.
I'm almost tempted to like try one of those shits. They gotta be good. And I don't even want to give him like free promo and like tell people to buy his pillow, but like he built his whole infomercial life career. He's like a multi-millionaire, maybe billionaire off of a fucking pillow. So he might have the perfect ingredients on like he might have the most banging chocolate chip cookie out there. And
I
like,
will say it makes me curious. Like I want to figure like why is this so popular? Is it just because of the marketing and shit, or is it actually like there's something to this? You know?
I don't know, but like I don't think I know anybody that has that shit, but I'm almost tempted to try one. And there's never like no one makes a like if he was smart, he would do like my blanket also. Like why'd he just do pillows?
Yeah, well, he might need to soon. I know he's wasting a lot of his money on court cases, you know?
Oh, is he's in like trouble, right?
Oh, he's been for a hot minute. He's suing people suing him, like his whole shit blew up because he decided to go all in on the 2020 election being stolen and like
I don't get why
just plummeted.
sometimes like when you have like such a successful business, like just shut the fuck up. Like what you like we don't need to
can't
know
help
everything
himself,
else
bro.
about you.
He can't help himself. First of all, he literally was a crackhead back in the day. Like
Yeah,
he was
that I
addicted to
believe.
crack. And then he got like super Christian. And so if that's your makeup, like you were addicted to crack and now you're addicted to Jesus and you made this successful pillow company, like that dude is probably psycho. You know what I'm saying? And so like the same thing that made him try to do a company off of one fucking pillow is the same shit that makes him be like, I'm going to prove that the election was stolen. I got the numbers, you know?
Yeah, that's what I don't get, man. Like, it's like if I get a super successful business, like, and you want to like do research and find out who I voted for in some presidential election, like, and it came out I voted for, you know, someone you didn't like, that's cool. But like, you wouldn't catch me being on some like, I'm on the mic, I'm at the rally, I'm like going hard.
I know.
Like, just
Well, I don't
chill.
understand that. Have you ever like when you sort of like meet somebody and it's the first like few hours of you meeting them and then they start hitting you with politics? Does that ever happen to you where I'm like, what are you doing? And the thing that always surprises me is how confident everybody is with their shit.
Yeah.
When they say, like, you have no idea what my politics are. For all you know, I'm going to be like, that was the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, why are you rolling the dice on this?
Yes.
Because the old saying is true, that if you're in polite company, don't talk politics, don't talk religion.
Yep.
Like, if it's just some polite shit where you're all just there and you got to get through the event, and it's like, you know, nobody really is, we're never going to become besties at this fucking random ass event that we're at.
Yep.
Why would you come up and start talking politics or start talking religion? Like, that's the last thing you should fucking talk about.
Yeah.
It's got to be basic ass shit. It's got to be like, damn, man, weather's real good outside right now, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I love the weather. Hey, I play golf. You play golf? Like, it's got to be some simple. It can't be on some, bro, did you see what the Supreme Court did? Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I had someone, I feel like people are like testing it now. Someone was talking to me about the New York Post, and I guess they're like very right-wing Trump,
Hmm.
supporters, and he
Yeah.
was like, some people get offended by what they say, and he was like trying to feel out like how like if I would be like, yeah, I don't get offended by any of that stuff, and then he would be like, all right, this guy's
Ooh, he
a
was
Trumper.
testing you.
He
He was
was,
testing you.
yeah, and I kind of was like, yeah, I really don't give a shit about like anything, like I was just hitting him with some basic like, I don't care about any type of shit, so he couldn't really judge if I was like, oh wow, he doesn't give a shit about what the New York Post says, so he's a big Trumper. And he more so was just like, this guy just might not give a shit about anything, so I don't know what the fuck he thinks.
Yeah, I hate it when people put you in a situation like that where you got to
Yeah.
try to navigate it. My default, if I don't want to talk politics,
Yeah,
I
it's
would
gotta be
literally
tough for
just
you, bro, because like someone talking politics to you, it's almost just like, save it, dog.
well, it depends, right? If somebody wants to talk politics and they know what I do for a living and they know like that's different.
Yeah.
But if somebody doesn't know who I am or what I do and they start talking politics, usually I'll just be like polite and just look for the, oh, I forgot I got to go grab that shit. Like I will just walk away cuz like I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
That's smart.
Do you want to end up debating for like fucking 3 hours? Am I,
Very
am I
smart.
here to do a political debate with some rando? No, I'm not going to do it, But usually, to be fair, really more often is the right wingers who want to talk that shit. Like, if somebody's liberal or leftist, they're usually like, I won't talk about it if you don't want to talk. Like, I'll just shut the fuck up,
Yep. Yep.
So there's something about that MAGA energy that they're just like, I got to tell everybody but what I think about everything,
Yeah, I
And
think
it's like,
people,
shut the
yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah, I think people want to know if you're like on their side, which it's got to be rare nowadays.
I feel like they assume I'm on their side
Yeah.
right away. Like that's how they act. Like
Yeah.
I know you're with me, right? It's like, why would you think that?
Yeah.
Why would you think that? But let's talk before we wrap up. Let's talk about the Knicks.
Yeah.
We got to talk
Yeah.
about
I
the
wanted
Knicks,
to,
and we got
yeah.
to talk about the finals too, because I'm curious your thoughts on the finals. But
I have some shit, yeah, written down on that. Well, first, I just wanted to ask you how you feeling overall after that defeat?
gutted. Like okay, so when we went down 0-2 and we lost both the first two games at the Garden,
Yep.
in my mind, I said we have the Celtics in this exact same position. And the feeling that we had after we put the Celtics down 0-2, when we stole it on their floor, was this is basically over. Like, even though we may have fronted, like, it ain't over till it's over, like, in my head, 95%, like, we got this shit,
Mhm.
So I felt like we already had won it.
Even before Tatum went down, you were like, we're going to win this series.
Even before Tatum went down, when we were up 2-0 and
Yeah.
we stole the games on their floor,
Yep.
in my heart of hearts, I wanted to tell you it's over. Like I
Mhm.
wanted to tap dance on their grave. It's a wrap. 95% chance. Because if you pull up the statistics on
Yep.
that,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like overwhelming. If you win the first two games and steal them, like it's a wrap,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So that's how I felt then. And so when we went down 0-2 to the Pacers, logically I was just thinking, look, if I'm being consistent, then mentally right now I got to check out and be like, we lost. Like it's over. Like I'm just preparing myself for the inevitable downfall because it's coming, right?
Yep.
And so then I went into every game with the mindset of like, this shit, it's
We lost.
over.
It's a wrap.
They may sweep us, whatever. But with that mindset, when we were able to pick up two games, I was like, oh shit. Like I started feeling like, mate, like, is it
Well,
what,
they just
mate?
won game 3, so they just had that one that they were down 20 and came back in game 3.
And then they ended up winning two games. And so it was.
Oh yeah, right. Well, they won the one back at the Garden. Yeah.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, all right. Like we're getting somewhere. So then I started feeling like maybe, but I would wrestle in my head, and the other part of my head would be like, no, you already said they lost when they went down 0-2. Like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Yep.
And then watching the final game, the game 6 where they lost, the reality set in pretty quickly. Basically, as soon as we got down like 9, I was like, that's it.
Even when we were trailing, I feel like, well, and I said this with Tim. We recorded before, I forgot one of the games. I think before they won at the Garden game 5. There was just a dark cloud of game 1 that was hovering over the whole series. That like when they
So
lost
true.
that game in that fashion,
Yeah.
was like,
Yep. They were up so much with a minute left.
and it was the first game. If it had
Yep.
happened the second game, like if they were down 0-1 and then we went 0-2, like the fact that it was the first game, we could have been up in the series, won on our home court, like the energy just would have been different. The team would have, like, camaraderie would have been there. But the fact that that was the start of the series, whatever else happened for the rest of the series, I was like, I just don't feel good about it. That set the tone for how we played the rest of the series. And like and I hate to say it, I think you even tweeted it out. Like, the Pacers are well coached. They're a really good team.
They're impressive.
Halliburton played his ass off, like didn't make turnovers. And then the stat that I saw that was incredible the last game was like, it was like 222 points or something to like 40 points off turnovers that the Pacers
Yeah.
outscored us by,
Mhm.
which is like
Yeah.
absurd. Like the way that they just got a rebound or forced a turnover and then got down the court so fast and made players that were like typically not good like Obi Toppin's not good in the half court.
Yeah.
But if you get a turnover and you get him running and you could throw an alley-oop, that motherfucker could dunk that shit from the 3-point line.
Yep.
So like the way like they just capitalized on all our mistakes. I think we got out coached by a better coach, championship coach. And you know, a lot of people are like, hey, if you had signed up for an Eastern Conference loss before the season, would you be okay with that? And it's like, yeah, everyone would say yes. But like the fact that like Jalen got us to the Eastern Conference finals and then almost like got us out of it is like there's just so much there's so much conversation that's happening on Twitter right now after the fact of like, is Thibs even going to be back? You know, like Cat lost the series for us, which I think is bullshit because he played his ass off, you know?
His defense was weak, but that's bullshit overall that he lost the series.
So like now there's conversations of like, well, so let me ask you, are you happy with like Thibs as the coach, knowing that like
So let me walk I'll give you I got a whole bunch of opinions I want to give you. So on the Thibs thing, I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's so easy to imagine a scenario where you get rid of him and bring in somebody who's objectively worse.
Well, Mike Malone is the old Nuggets head coach who won a championship with them. His father was with the Knicks for a while, and like he's a damn good coach.
I get it, but to be fair to Thibs, this is the most successful the Knicks have been.
That's true.
In our lives, in our adult lives, and he's responsible for helping us get there. And I think the players still like him. You know, Jalen was like offended when he was asked after the game, like, is Thibs still the guy for the job? He was basically like, fuck you, of course he is.
True.
So he's got the trust of the players.
I think the front office likes him a lot.
Front office likes, so like part of my mind, I hear you, right? Because my worry is he ever going to be able to get us over that hump?
And that's his whole battle too. He brought the Bulls to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Exactly, and like I don't know, right? Like, so I'm genuinely stuck 50-50 on the Thibs question. Like, I get where people are coming from having that conversation, but on the other hand, I feel like everybody who really wants him gone is failing to reckon with the fact that it's very possible you bring in somebody who's objectively worse, that there's 1,000 coaches out there that are worse than him. So that's the point on Thibs. On Jalen, to your point, I think you got it exactly right. He's the reason we got as far as we did, but he was undoubtedly the weak link in the Pacers series. He did not match up with the Pacers. He just didn't.
No.
And I was watching Gil's Arena, and they were talking about this.
Yeah.
Like, every single time the Knicks would inbound the ball after the Pacers scored a bucket, Jalen would bring it up the floor. They were full court pressing his ass easily.
Yeah, he was working to get it across half court.
It would be a workout for him to just get it across half court, dog.
Yeah, facts.
And the point that the guys on Gil's Arena made, and these are former NBA players, they know this shit.
Yeah.
They were like, look, at some point when it wasn't working out with Jalen and you couldn't get a flow and he was slowing the game up for them, you got to give it to Miles and say, look, Jalen, you can stay in, but you go in the corner or whatever, play the two, because how do you deal with a full court press? Well, Miles McBride is athletic as fuck and fast as fuck. You give it to him, he fucking bullets right up the court. All of a sudden, them full court pressing you, that becomes a disadvantage for them because now they got 4 back and 1 on the guard, and he's blowing by you.
Yep.
Like, and that's the other thing. Just to comment on the Pacers, like, obviously I'm emotional and salty about the Knicks loss.
Yeah.
But the Pacers were fucking incredible.
Yeah, they were.
Like, they were fucking incredible. They play a style of basketball that I love. And that style is just like relentless defense, like just up your ass type defense.
Yep.
But marrying that with run and gun offense.
It's like the old school Phoenix Suns, like Steve Nash.
Old school Phoenix Suns, 7 seconds or less. But exactly. And so the Phoenix Suns, the old school Phoenix Suns under Mike D'Antoni in the late 2000s.
Amare, Sean Marion, Raja Bell. You remember Raja Bell?
Steve Nash. Raja Bell was great defender, fast. And like, they had 7 seconds or less offense. The Pacers were doing like 5 seconds or less.
Crazy.
And the difference is, like you said, the Suns back then, D'Antoni didn't even coach fucking defense. They were
No.
basically off on defense. Imagine amazing defense with run and gun offense.
Yeah.
Right? And they just fucking killed it. So the Pacers were incredible, and they honestly earned the win. But it was hard to watch with the Knicks because the thing that was crazy, every game you got a real clear vibe of what was going to happen. The game where the Knicks ended up winning and they kind of like fucked them up a little bit, you felt it the whole game. You saw that the defensive energy was with the Knicks, right? And they were able to get you done. But watching the games where the Celtics won, it was like, it was fucking art, bro. Watching how good they were, how fast they played, how relentless they were on defense. And to the Cat question, like, it's fucked up to say Cat lost the series for us. I definitely agree with that. I really think Jalen was more of the weak link in this series.
Yeah.
But for Cat, he really does have a defensive issue. Like, on defense, he really is trash. Like, Jalen was trash on defense too, but Cat, like, we needed more out of Cat on defense, and we really got, like, nothing. Like, there were a bunch of embarrassing plays with him on defense where he looked like me out there, right? And so the thing people are speculating now, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, is could you imagine a Cat for Giannis trade?
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel? I'll answer first, and I'll just say, even bringing in Giannis to the fold, just, yes, there's maybe a better chance at a championship, but we've seen this with every single team that's put these superstars and put these like super teams together. There's a learning curve of at least a year or two. So like Giannis isn't young. It's not like you could put these teams together. Like you can like pair you up with the best other like, commentator on YouTube or some shit. And it takes time for chemistry to be built, to figure out, like, all right, Kyle likes talking this way. I'm going to play into his shit this way. Like that doesn't just happen in one season. And like, yes, there's the regular season. You can play all these games, but like that shit gets built over years. So like, I almost feel like roll out the same team, maybe get like another piece, get a shooter, get someone who can like, score when Jalen's out the game or when Cat's out the game. Because our issue was like, we're relying on, in the Eastern Conference Finals, DeLon Wright to make a clutch three, and that motherfucker didn't hit anything in that game in Indiana. Like, I love
should have been Payne. Payne can shoot. Payne can shoot better than him.
Yeah, Payne's another liability that like he's just erratic. Like yes,
overall, but at least he can shoot a little bit.
No,
like he can shoot
like,
from time to time.
He would have hit one of those threes that DeLon missed. You need someone like if we had DiVincenzo back to just be a guy.
I never liked trading him. I never did.
And like so we need someone that could be that because Josh Hart, the conversation is like, is he going to be a starter? Is he going to come off the bench? But he's not a scorer. You need like one more scorer.
Well, that's the thing. He also didn't step up. We needed at least 1 or 2 games from him where he scored 20 or more.
Yeah.
And in the regular season, he'd give you every now and then he'd go off and score 20 or more. But he was also like largely absent, and it killed us, man.
So the Giannis question is like, if we got him, yes, that'd be amazing. But like, we'd have to give up OG, we'd have to give up Bridges, we'd have to give up Cat, probably a draft pick, and he would just set us back so far that like,
you can't give up. Like, I could understand if they were considering Cat plus one other player.
Yeah,
maybe I could see it, but
can't
do more than that. You can't do more than that. No. You can't cut the roster. You can't cut the roster. And the other question is, forget about Giannis for a second. Yeah, we do kind of need a deeper bench. I really think Shamet was great off the bench, though. Shout out to him.
Yep.
He played really well. He was awesome. Plug in on defense, just like came in there relentless. So shout out to him. But yeah, we do need a deeper bench overall. Tibbs needs to play the bench more so that when they can get to the playoffs, they're like, oh, we've been here. Like, we can play now. Like, it's hard to get a rhythm when you're only playing fucking 6 minutes a night or whatever the fuck, But on the Giannis question, I look, Cat is not great at defense. Giannis is awesome at defense.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge upgrade. Giannis scores not in the exact same way Cat does, but he's great offensively. If it was just straight up Cat for Giannis, I would do it. Oh, but to your point,
straight up.
To your point, that if you're giving up OG and McHale, like, then you can't do it.
I think someone said like even contractually, like I don't think it would work where you give up Cat for Giannis straight up. Like you need to include at least like 3 of those guys. But like the thing about Giannis is like he could bring the ball up court, and then to your point, Jalen can play off the ball. where now Giannis drives to the basket, kicks it out to Jalen for a three, and it's like, he has to do less of the work and not carry the whole team, So like, if they did it, I wouldn't be mad. But if they gave up a lot of guys, I'd kind of be like, yo, this is just setting us back, And also
Yeah.
there's a fun stat that I think for the last 6 years or something like that, the team that's lost in the Eastern Conference Finals has made it to the finals the next year.
Mm.
So like,
and I can say for sure they want to run it back. All the Knicks seem like they want to run it back exactly like it is. But having said that, the thing that freaks me out though is that, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. In my mind, it feels like the style that the Pacers play is always going to beat the style that the Knicks play.
yeah,
I feel
agree.
like
It's just
the Knicks
fast.
play like old school basketball, and in a way I like that.
Mhm.
But when you come up against a team that run and guns and also locked you down on defense, it's like they're scoring immediately and easily with layups, and then for us it's like pulling teeth to get a single bucket.
Well,
You miss one shot and it's like, oh fuck, we're losing.
yes,
You know what I'm
they're
saying?
already down the court, and that's that like transition basketball. And the one thing that everyone said watching that series is like the Pacers just look fresh, they look younger, and it's like every time we scored, they're already down the court, and Cat's like hobbling to get back. Jalen's working so hard, he's running slow to get back. Like our guys looked a lot slower. Mitch is playing hurt, so he's running slow to get back. Like they just looked fresher, they looked younger, they looked faster, and ultimately, to your point, like OKC plays the same type of style. So like it's gonna be
It's gonna be a
interesting.
crazy good series,
People
bro.
are like writing off the Pacers, and I will say this to my dying grave, and again, Molly gets mad at me, but like, and Austin Rivers made a good point. I don't think anyone's going to watch this NBA Finals because Indiana's got the smallest TV market, and like
Watch the
OKC's
shit out of
got
it.
like the second smallest market. But Austin Rivers was kind of like, people do understand that none of these players on those teams are actually from Indiana or OKC. So like, that makes no difference on where the teams are. You should still just want to watch good basketball. And he's right. But also, I don't give a shit about Indiana. I don't give a shit about OKC. So like, I don't think I'm going to be watching it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm gonna watch the shit out of it because, to your point, so you were like they play a very similar style. They do,
Yeah.
but here's the difference: OKC is better at it.
You think?
100%. They have the number 1 rated defense
Yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah.
Of the top 16 defensive players in the NBA, 10 of them are on OKC.
That's crazy.
They are, imagine the Pacers, but on steroids.
Yeah.
They have a more efficient offense, and they have a better defense.
And
They get all the
MVP.
same fast break points, but even if they can't get fast break points, they have
Good
an amazing
half-court.
system with all these cuts and shit with the way they play.
Yeah.
And so I think OKC is just a better version of the Pacers.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be OKC winning the title. But to your point, like that's the thing I'm scared about. Are we just playing the wrong fucking style completely? Like
You could.
because I feel like our team was so good this year. Like we were amazing this year. And like Thibs doesn't play the bench that much. The guys were tired. The guys look older. The guys are slower. And it's like, on what planet were we gonna beat the Pacers with the way it looked?
Yeah. Yeah. And our whole team, Tibbs' whole philosophy is built on defense. And
They weren't that good on defense.
that was our crutch. So it's like,
Yeah.
you could do that in football. It's 16 games. If you have a phenomenal defense, you can rely on that shit. Like the Baltimore Ravens always have a nasty defense. They won a Super Bowl having like the best defense. But in basketball, there's just so many more games, there's so many more possessions, there's so many more opportunities to like, fall asleep a little bit on defense that like if you're hanging your hat solely on defense, I hate to say it because people say defense wins championships, but I don't think in the NBA that shit is true. I think like you could have a beast offense and win a championship.
I mean, the Pacers really beat us with their defense, though,
Yeah.
because
That's true.
they made it impossible for us to score.
Yeah.
And then for them, it was easy buckets because we were slow to get back, and they would just dribble down, make the layup, whatever. And all they needed was like, a few hot shooting streaks per game, and it was a wrap. And so I'm definitely going to watch this finals. I think it's great. My philosophy on it is I want to see the people who just beat us, the Pacers.
Yeah.
First of all, they were really fucking arrogant about it with the fucking Halliburton doing the choke thing.
I'm not so mad at the choke thing because it fit the occasion. Yeah, like it fit.
No, I get it. I get it. But if you guys want to be all fucking arrogant and shit, okay,
They'll win
well,
the championship.
I want OKC to win the championship, and I think they're going to win the championship. And I want all these fucking arrogant Pacers fans who are just shitting on the Knicks to know what it feels like, what we just felt, except it'll feel worse for you because you're in the actual finals,
That's true.
right? This was just the Eastern Conference Finals. This is the actual finals.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would like to see is OKC win and for the Pacers fans to feel exactly what the fuck we felt.
I can see that.
Whereas Crystal's philosophy is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like if the Pacers win, that will sort of validate the Knicks that you only lost to the best team in the NBA. So in other words, it's like instead of thinking of us as we're the third best team in the NBA right now, that would leapfrog us to like we're like this, the second best or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
I could see that. I could see both arguments. I kind of lean more on your side where it's like
it's emotional, yeah.
Yeah, like
it's just emotional. Like fuck you.
Fuck Indiana, they beat us. And OKC has like Hartenstein. I know like the Pacers have Obi Toppin, but like Hartenstein was like more of a role player for us than Obi was. SGA seems like a good dude. Canadian seems like a nice guy. But I will say, I think the Pacers is so well coached. I'm really a big Rick Carlisle fan that like he's gonna dial something up. And the Thunder's coach is younger, still a very good coach, but I feel like Rick Carlisle has just old school, knows the game so well that he can maybe win a game or two, just based off of his coaching alone. That said, I still think OKC is going to win the chip, but I think it's going to be a really good series regardless. It's just going to be
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Like the crowds are both some of the best basketball crowds. Like OKC, they're the only fan base that like they give out T-shirts and literally everyone wears it.
Everybody wears it. Yep.
Fucking like, I mean, they don't have any superstars or super mega celebrities that sit courtside, but every dude and female in that shit put the shirts on. And Indiana does the same. They're all wearing yellow, so that's gonna be one cool thing. Like you go to New York, they give out T-shirts. Nobody's wearing that shit.
Nobody's wearing that shit.
OKC,
nobody's
Indiana,
wearing that shit.
like they actually care about basketball, and you get like legit fans in there. Because tickets are like comparable to what shit cost in their city, you know?
Yeah.
Like you could pay $200 and go see an NBA Finals game in OKC. New York, that shit's like $1,200.
Yeah, it's super expensive.
It might be like $200-$300 to sit up top in OKC.
Maybe. I mean, maybe you're right. That's 200. I can see that. We should look it up. But what I was gonna say is on the defense question, the Pacers were able to exploit both Jalen and Cat, and like the Knicks couldn't hide it. They would always switch on to Jalen or switch on to Cat, right? And the problem that the Pacers are going to face with OKC is that there's no weakness on the defense. Like you can't exploit anybody.
The top 10 guys. That's not even their starting lineup. That's like deep into their bench.
And so, like I said, they're the Pacers, but better. So if the Pacers think we'll tire them out by running, no, they run just as fast as you. They do the same shit that you do, and they're just better at defense.
Yeah.
And so they got it tough. It's going to be hard for the Pacers to generate if they're unable to get out in the fast breaks and they need to generate through set plays. It could be a sweep, bro. If that's the situation, it could be a sweep. And remember, I said I thought the Knicks would win in 7.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be a dogfight against the Pacers. I was wrong. The Pacers won in 6.
Yeah.
So I just feel like this is the ultimate test for them. And Halliburton can't afford that, like the stinker game he had where he had 8 points or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. He
can't afford that against OKC. He just can't afford it,
Yeah.
Siakam was consistent, but they're to the Pacers' credit, they're like a very communist team. Like everybody sort of plays a role and scores and you know what I'm saying? But like you need everybody to sort of be all right.
Or Halliburton isn't setting the tone like the Knicks did it. If they cut the head of the snake with Halliburton, it's a wrap. No one else is getting the ball. He's not facilitating. Siakam is a streaky shooter. If he goes through a cold stretch, it's a wrap. Like it's not like it's a given that he's just gonna cash all his shots. He was hot in this series versus us, but he's from the G League. Like he's got flaws and weaknesses to his game, where not a lot of those guys have it on OKC.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you mentioned Hartenstein too.
Mm-hmm.
I was really upset when we lost him and DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
And Randall to a lesser extent. I knew we were probably going to trade Randall, but like when we lost DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, and Randall all at the same time, and we got Cat, but like it felt like, damn, Hartenstein and DiVincenzo in particular, they set the defensive tone for the Knicks
Yeah.
last season.
Yep.
And like we were a really like defensive team.
Yep.
And this year, yeah, we were better offensively, but felt like we lost a little bit of that edge on defense.
100%. And Mitch
And then
tried to play that role, but he also, like, every time he plays or jumps, you get worried a little bit that, like, he's playing with
and
an
he
injury.
gasses fast. He gasses fast
He
because
gasses fast.
he's big,
Yeah.
you know, and he was injured. And so, but when he was on the floor, he was super impactful.
He was.
But yeah, like, you would even have, like, OG, who's one of our better defenders, McHale, who's one of our better defenders. Even they would go through stretches where it's like, you're not really defending all that hard. And maybe it's because they were tired and they were exhausted because they had to play big minutes.
Yep.
But, like, we couldn't fucking afford that shit. We
Yep.
couldn't afford that shit. And so yeah, I'm just sad. I'm not sure we're ever going to win in our fucking
Well, that's what I
lifetimes,
was
and that makes me
that's what I was
sad.
going to end on is, do you think we'll ever see a Knicks championship? Knowing that stat I just told you that next year, if you look at it, Tatum's out for the whole year. Dame Lillard's coming back off of an injury. So the Bucks, maybe they lose Giannis. Maybe they're a mess. But there's
They're
no
gonna lose
real
Giannis,
team
yeah.
besides Indiana, and they're like, Detroit's going to be good again. But there's no real team in the East that, like, you look at and they're like, they're just going to steamroll this. Like, so there's a lane to come back next year with the Celtics being injured, like, and that stat that the Eastern Conference Finals loser comes back and makes it to the finals next year. Like, do you have any hope?
I do, but I'm just so emotionally scarred from all the years of failure that I'm just worried that it's not going to happen. It makes me happy. The way that Jalen reacted to that question about Thibodeau made me happy because it made me feel like he's still 100% set. Like, no, we got the squad, we got the coach, we can do this. Let us run it back. Like, that gives me a little bit of confidence hearing him be like, sort of, fuck you for asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what can be done or what coaching changes can be done in terms of style or whatever to make it so that, the season next year is 82 games also, and is Thibodeau going to run these guys into the ground again, and then we're right back in the same position, and then are the Pacers going to beat us? Like, I think we can win, but I'm 37, we haven't won a chip my whole life or your life, and it's like, I'm sort of running out of patience, bro, because we were sort of spoiled in some sense when it came to... I remember growing up, I'm sure you remember this too, like, every fucking year the Yankees would win the World Series.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm going, we're New York. We win shit. Like, that's what we do. You think of the Rangers. The Rangers won the Stanley Cup in 1994.
Yep.
Right? And I don't know, have they won it since? I haven't followed hockey very closely lately.
Nope.
But
they made it back to the finals, and someone said, like, they lost to the Kings 14, something like that.
Okay. So, but like in my mind, growing up, it's like, we win shit. Like that's what happens. It just happens like that.
Yep.
But for the Knicks, and I watch basketball more than any other sport, and I tied with golf, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
golf,
fairly a sport. But it just feels like we should, but we just haven't, and so that just makes me feel like it could just go on like this forever. Because and if they make a change that fucks everything up, you could just plummet right back down too. That's the point you were kind of making earlier.
There's an account.
When you said about Giannis, like if you bring in Giannis and just dump like 3 players, it's like we could immediately.
Yeah, he
even
gets
if you have
hurt.
Jalen and Giannis, it's like if you don't have anybody else around them, you could
100%.
So yeah, I don't know. The teams now are getting younger.
Yep.
And faster,
Yep.
and the benches are getting deeper. So, like, everybody's highly competent and has a high basketball IQ, but they're not as many stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the trend of the league now. You know what I'm saying?
Look
it's
at
not
LeBron.
like back in the day.
LeBron, they can't keep up with players. Like,
no, they
Timberwolves
can't.
ran him out the gym.
Timberwolves ran him out the gym. So yeah, the days of like we got 2 or 3 superstars. The Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were that.
Yep.
Hey, we got 2 or 3 superstars. We threw them all on one team. Watch, we're gonna win, and then
yep. Even
fucking blown out.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there's one account, Big Nick Energy, that they tweeted out the Knicks world is about to be shocked, and a lot of people are tweeting like, you're trolling, and so if they have some inside information of something going down, I hope the executive staff doesn't have just a knee-jerk reaction and does something crazy, but something might happen. Could be a coaching change, could be a Giannis thing, who knows?
I mean, the coaching thing, I feel like that wouldn't be a huge shock. Like it's semi-expected. Like, that might happen. I feel like everybody's thinking that. But if they're saying, the Knicks world's going to be shocked, to me that sounds more like we're bringing in Giannis, or we're trying to get Kevin Durant or Devin Booker or some shit like that.
Just trying to get clicks at this point.
Yeah, that's true. It could also just be total bullshit.
Um,
Always leave room for lies. There could
yeah.
just be lies, you know?
Last thing, I know we briefly touched on it, but um, you don't believe that Elon really got punched by his 5-year-old son, right?
Oh, of course not. No, no, no. He didn't get punched by his son. He got punched probably by Stephen Miller.
You think they really got like so that was a rumor that like he was doing like with his wife or something?
Well, that's not a rumor. That's confirmed.
Oh, for
That
real?
his wife left the government to work for Elon.
Oh, wow.
That
That's
part's confirmed.
uh-huh.
The thing about the black eye is speculation, but I mean,
Uh-huh.
connect the dots. It seems
Yeah.
like Occam's razor. It's the most straightforward answer, but it could also be. I mean, it could have been. It could have been Stephen Miller. Or it could have been somebody else. Lord only knows what fucking shit Elon Musk is into, and
That's what I'm
whatever.
saying, especially if he's doing all those drugs and stuff. Who knows like if like he had a
Exactly
bad transaction and like I'm surprised
could be
that's not
anything.
a bigger story. I mean, I haven't followed the news. I don't like keep too much
It was
up.
pretty big. It was New York Times. It was
It
pretty
was?
big. There was a big
Okay.
article in the New York Times, and everybody saw it, and he got really defensive about it. So it was pretty big.
I don't know
It was
why
pretty
he would
big.
show up and like especially do like the CBS Sunday morning interview with that. Like wait
That's
a
what I
week
was
or
saying. Like,
two.
bro, they're gonna ask you all the questions you don't want to answer, you dumb bitch. What do you think it was gonna be, a puff piece about your shitty starship that blew up a day later? Like, what the fuck are you thinking, bro? You're a mess.
Yeah. He kind of brought that upon himself. And I said this to Jed. I was like, I kind of felt bad for him, but then I was also like, why? No, I don't.
Fuck him. Fuck
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I
He
know.
got to this point through like relentless PR and
Yeah.
media bullshit, pretending he was a genius, elbowing his way into these companies he had nothing to do with when they got built up, right? And now, like, okay, so you built this big name for yourself. You decided to get involved in politics. Welcome to the big leagues, bitch. This is
Yeah.
what happens.
True.
You want to snuggle up to the Republicans and snuggle up to Trump? Okay. Well, all the liberals who were buying your Teslas, that was the only people who were buying Teslas were liberals. Now they all fucking hate you.
Yeah.
What did you expect? And what, you think Republicans are going to go buy a Tesla? No, they're driving Ford F-150s and Chevy Silverados. They're not going to get a fucking electric car, Tesla.
True.
Fuck is wrong? Of course it's not going to work. He's just an idiot, bro.
Yeah.
This is what I've been preaching this gospel for a long time about Elon. He's always been a fraud. And I recommend people, there's a YouTube channel named Thunderfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Type in Thunderfoot Elon Musk to YouTube, and you will see he's done like dozens of videos just exposing all of Elon's frauds. Bro, I swear to God,
You've been
Corin,
saying that
it is
since
endless.
'88. I mean, like,
It's endless because it's endless and like nobody knows about it,
Yeah.
right? Like, so just to give one example, I think it was like in 2017, he made this big deal about we're releasing a Tesla sports car and it's going to be amazing. It's going to get this much battery life. It's going to get to go this many miles without having to be charged. And he started taking deposits for that shit. Well, come to find out,
never even made
he's
that
like, oh,
shit.
it's coming out in a year. Never made it. It never came out. Never been a fucking update on it. And in order for the battery to have the life he was talking about, the battery would have needed to be bigger than the car itself. He just lied and stole money from people. It's called vaporware. You sell something that doesn't exist, and then he moves on to the next scam. This is what he does, bro. Remember the whole shit about, the Hyperloop. We're going to do the Hyperloop.
Yeah, that was
Whatever happened to the fucking
tunnels in
Hyperloop?
California or something, right?
Yeah, or Las Vegas. Like, what the fuck
Oh,
ever
but-
happened to those? Nothing, because you're a fucking scam artist. There's that famous clip of him on YouTube where he says, I'll put us on Mars in 10 years.
No.
That shit was like 18 years ago, and we're nowhere fucking closer to Mars. Like, how do people... What I don't understand is how people don't see through the obvious bullshit after a certain amount of time. Like, after a certain amount of time, you got to go, something's not right with this dude, bro. And I guess it happened when people saw him, like, cutting pediatric cancer research. That's when they were like, oh, this guy might suck, you know?
When he started putting himself more in the light, like when you're hosting SNL, like you're not a comedian, you're not funny. Like, what are you doing? And you start putting yourself out there a little bit more. People are like, yo, this guy is a fucking idiot. It's like me with this podcast. The more I speak, the more people are like, yo, this guy's a dumbass. But like, I don't mind it.
No. That's no. People find you charming, bro. That's you got a very like something about your personality. People just like you, like they just hear you and they're like, I like that guy. You know what I'm saying? You got
Yeah.
that like charisma to you. He
But I
doesn't.
don't
He has
put
the
out that I'm,
opposite.
like, yeah, some like fucking brainiac shit running some like multi-billion-dollar company. Yeah, to your point, like he says all this shit, gets all this government money for like these fucking building shit in California, and then doesn't do anything with it. And you're like, yo, what about that last shit you told me about? Like the Occupy Mars shit or
Mars,
whatever. Like
yeah.
he's probably getting tons of money from like NASA and like all this like governmental shit. And meanwhile, he's blowing up spaceship after spaceship. Like me or you could do that.
Bro, for like the past 5 years, every year for the past like 5 years, he goes, oh, self-driving cars are a year away. Tesla's going to be full self-driving in a year.
I'm
It's
not
going to
gonna
be full
front. I have
self-driving.
seen some there's a dude at my gym, and this like he was waiting outside, and his fucking car pulled up, and I was like, damn, that was kind of gangster.
Every time he says it, though, he's lying. And then when people go to test the full driving shit,
It's
they
something fucked
crash.
up. Oh,
It hits a fucking kid or it crashes into a bridge or it's not like the number of variables you would have to program the car to take
yeah,
into consideration to do full self-driving. It literally is not like they tell you it's got like a semi-driving mode, but you have to keep your hands on the wheels at all time because it could make a bad decision.
100%.
But he just lies about it. And he's like, oh, we're going to have it next year. Okay, well, next year was 2021, and you didn't have it. Oh, we're going to have it next year. 2022, didn't have it. 2023, didn't have it. Like, he just lies about everything. And then nobody ever just says you're a complete and utter bullshitter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what's the name of that woman? I forget her name, but she did the Theranos company. It was a company.
Yeah. I don't...
Elizabeth Holmes, I think her name was.
Damn.
She said, "Oh, we revolutionized blood testing because they used to have to take, you know, vials of your blood like that big or whatever the fuck." Yeah. And she was like, "With our company, all we have to do is prick your finger, and the tiniest amount of blood, we can do a full blood test." That's what she was. She raised like millions and millions of dollars. Totally made it up. Every aspect of the company was complete bullshit. She was basically robbing people and selling them a line of shit, and like. People with her, because she ended up going to prison, people realize, like, oh, you're full of shit. But with Elon, he did all this shit. He still hasn't been to fucking prison. And now, with Trump running the government, it's not like his Department of Justice is going to fucking go after Elon. No, he needs to be in prison, bro. It really is that simple. Like, the next Democrat who gets elected, this motherfucker needs to be investigated and needs to be put in prison. He commits so many crimes on a daily fucking basis, and he keeps getting away with it.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, my brother said the other day, he was like, we were just driving, and he's got a Tesla. He was like, but I really dodged a bullet not getting a Cybertruck. And I know people like who has a Cybertruck or who had a Cybertruck, and the other day he pulled up in like a GMC truck, and he was like, yeah, I got rid of the Cybertruck. Like nobody wants that car anymore. It's just like, it's funny to just see the downfall of like this guy's whole company.
Yeah, it makes me happy though because like we were talking about earlier, there's only one Trump. Yeah. There's only one guy who can seemingly get away with everything, which sucks because I don't want anybody to get away with everything. Yeah. But it's nice to know that when other people try to be like Trump, you just can't do it.
Speaking of
so basically, when he's gone, it's like the other Republicans, the laws of politics still apply to them.
Yeah.
They only don't apply to Trump, you know?
Last one, and I saw this was Anthony Weiner, Carlos Danger is like trying to come back and be governor or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Views audience was like clapping for him and like.
Oh my God, were they?
Yeah, like because he was basically like, I came out the other side of it, and now I'm gonna be fighting. Like it's just like no one asked you to come back into the limelight, dude. So like, just fly under the radar. Like do some consulting shit. Just go away though. But like, these people just crave the power, crave the attention, crave the limelight, and it's sad because it's like, yo, what you did was mad weird, dude. Like, don't come back into the scene now.
One of the things he did, I think he was like sexting with an underage girl too.
Yeah, I think he's a registered like sex offender or something like that.
Come on, man. You can't try to come back after what are you doing? And the other thing, remember, one of the scandals was that he was sending dick pics of himself to one of his women he was having an affair with. Yeah, and in the picture you could see his baby next to him.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Like,
come on,
bro,
dude.
You're done. I'm sorry, you gotta go, dog.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange, and hopefully he doesn't come back into the fold. But like,
he's not going to win. I don't think he's going to win. The one we got to worry about is Cuomo making a comeback. That I'm worried about because Andrew Cuomo, who was the governor of New York,
he was just like creepy though, right? Like
now he's running for mayor of New York City.
Oh,
but he's running against this guy who's based as fuck. His name is Zoran.
Yeah,
and right now, like it's close. Andrew Cuomo's in the lead, but it's not by that much.
He might win.
Yeah, he might win for mayor of New York City. Cuomo might win for mayor of New York City. But to your point, yeah, the thing that took him down was basically him being a sexual harasser.
Yeah.
Like he would harass women.
Yeah.
But also when he was governor, remember he made a decision to like let old people with COVID back into the old people homes, and then everybody got COVID and died, and everybody just acted like, yeah, he killed thousands of people. Whatevs, bro. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? No, go away. This is crazy. You can't make a comeback after that.
It's crazy that like these people still have a shot at like winning. Like there's no other people that could win. Like there's no other candidates.
It's all fucking like name recognition stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, like you just got people who are like, yeah, I mean, I voted for him before. I guess I'll vote for him again. Like, I know his name. It's like, come
So
on, bro.
sad.
I get, like, his dad was governor of New York,
Yeah,
too,
he's got
Mario
the Tappan
Cuomo.
Zee Bridge now.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we get it, but that doesn't mean he needs to be. Like, George W. Bush was the son of George H.W. Bush. That was a mistake, electing George W. Bush, right? Like, what are we doing here?
They have a 9/11 documentary on Netflix, and they went through like I just watched a little of the first episode, and they showed him at that elementary school the day he got like briefed of like the towers got hit, and he was like the spokesperson or whatever who told him, the speaker, I don't know, whatever, was basically just like, yeah, he was really just trying to put on a tough face for these kids and not show them that he was so scared. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, that shit happens, and like you need to bounce. Like, fuck them kids.
Oh, bro. That was like, that fact that you just said was one of like the main arguments used by the 9/11 conspiracy theorists. They're like, yo, you were told the towers were hit and you sat there for like another 8 minutes or whatever the fuck it was. Like, what are you doing? You're the president. You got to get the fuck out of there.
That's what the one guy that told him the news was like, I was worried that they were gonna bomb that school in any second or something like that. Like, it was just crazy. The whole documentary was a hot mess, but whatever.
I should take a look at that documentary.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, like, that episode was good. They did a whole good like behind the scenes of like some good footage that you hadn't seen.
Don't ever watch the 9/11 truther documentaries. I'm gonna give this word of advice to both you and the audience, because when I was younger and I watched those shits, they are the most convincing things I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah, believe it. I mean,
if you watch a 9/11 truther documentary, at the end of that bitch, you're gonna be like, "Yep, they're right."
yeah. It's sad, but like a lot of those times, and I think they did it in this documentary, like the music they pair with like some of this shit, like they can perfectly like kind of get your thinking to be like something might be up here, and they find any little grain of something.
Yeah, they're great at like poking holes. What they do in the 9/11 truther documentaries is they poke holes in the official narrative in a way that makes you feel like, well, they're definitely not telling the truth about it. That's obvious.
Yeah.
But then what they do is they fill in the gaps with like their own made up shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's super, especially when I was younger and I watched, it was like, yo, this is real as fuck. As you get older, you get more skeptical. You start connecting the dots better. And you realize that their story is flawed as fuck too. But they're right that the official story, just like with the JFK assassination, like the official story is like, you motherfuckers are leaving out so much shit.
Well,
and you're wrong about so much shit that it's like, this may as well have not even been a report because it's stupid. Nobody should listen to it.
I mean, it makes you think, though, when you see, like, how much they lied about, like, Joe Biden's health, like, deteriorating and all this stuff, like, covering that up, of, like, how much cover-up they did back in the day for certain things. And, like, I'm, like, when they bombed the, Pentagon, was it? And they only had, like, one camera angle that was from, like, some guy's house down the block that was like crusty as hell. And then like the Epstein thing too is like, yo, come on. There's no cameras anywhere else in a prison cell that
they said they have the video now, but
they said they have the video?
But they said there's a video of him killing himself. But this literally the same week they announced that, like a few days earlier, they released AI videos, which now the AI videos look real.
Oh.
Like, they found a way to make AI videos look real, so there's no doubt that whatever the fuck slop they're going to show us is fake. That's the thing about conspiracy theories, and I'm on the record as saying this in the past, I'll say it again. Some of them are true. Some of them are true. There's a whole bunch of them that are total fucking horse shit,
yeah.
And I'm the first to call them out and break them down and explain why it's stupid.
Yeah.
But every now and then, there's one where you're like, yep, they got one on that, right? Like, with JFK, I'm totally convinced. The idea that it was like the lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, and that's it. Bro, first of all, there were like 7 different conspiracies about who it could have been.
Yeah.
Right? It's bad when there's not even just one. Yeah. It's like, it could have been the CIA. Yeah. It could have been the Mafia. Yeah. It could have been Cuba. It could have been Russia. They went down the list of like, it could have been literally, they all had a motive to want to do it.
Yeah.
But you're telling me the shit that it ended up being was one rando loser? Like, nah, dog, nah. And then his backstory is kind of weird because he could have been, like, manipulated by the FBI or the CIA with brainwashing and all sorts of shit. So that's one of those ones where you look at it, and by the way, a majority of Americans, they pulled this. A majority of Americans don't believe the official story of, like, just one gunman, right?
No.
So So some conspiracies are true, some are false, some it's like a little bit of both, like it's sort of in the middle. They're right on some things, wrong on some things. And that I feel like that's not something you're like, usually people are either all in saying every conspiracy is bullshit, or they're all in saying every conspiracy is correct. And that is kind of annoying because it's like very clear dividing lines, and it's like everybody needs to be a centrist on the issue of conspiracies.
Yeah.
Some are true, some are not, some are a little bit of both, you know?
100%. Yeah. All right. Sheesh, a lot going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait, so sorry. You said OKC in what? How many games?
I'm going to go OKC in 5.
Wow. I'm gonna say that Indiana puts up a little fight. I think it goes 7. I think OKC in 7. I think Indiana puts up a little fight just because like they're riding a good stretch right now. But
that's more than a little fight. That's a
yeah,
lot of fight
yeah,
right
a lot
there.
of fight.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a good series.
Yeah, I didn't look up what their record was in the regular season.
I don't think they played. Or no, that's not possible, is it?
No, yeah, I don't think that's possible. What is
Oh yeah, they had to have played.
OKC Thunder?
Yeah, check that real quick. I feel like they were like they haven't played in a while.
Regular season record 2025.
Or maybe they only played once.
Let's see. In the 2025 regular season, the Oklahoma City Thunder had a 2-0 record against the Indiana Pacers.
Oh,
They
wow.
won both games. Yeah.
Pacers also didn't have a good season. Like they're hot now. You know, like I feel like a totally different team than what they were in.
Yeah, they were the 4 seed in the East.
Yeah,
4.
yeah.
And OKC is the 1 seed. That's the other thing is we could have talked about this too. Is the Cavs were the number 1 seed in the East, and they looked unstoppable in the regular season.
Yep.
And then they shit the bed hard in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's always the worst when you're like a 1-seeded team or a 2-seeded team and you get bounced immediately. It's always like, damn, what happened? You guys were so good.
That was like the Warriors when they broke the record of like 72 wins or some shit like that, and then lost. That was the team that lost in the finals, I think, to.
They lost in the finals to LeBron after being up 3-1.
Yep.
But I think somebody got hurt, which sort of ruined it for them. Was it
Draymond
Draymond?
got like suspended a game for like kicking LeBron in the nuts or something like that.
Yeah. So I think if they had Draymond, I think they would have won. But obviously, now LeBron gets to have the like legendary comeback story of down 3-1 in the finals and coming back to win.
100%.
Which he said that story makes me the GOAT.
Yeah.
He said that. Yeah, like let other people say that. You don't have to say that because other people can make that argument. But obviously, you sound really biased. That's why the way MJ handled it and the way Kobe handled it was perfect. Where they're just like, hey, I don't even talk about that. You guys decide.
Yeah.
Because you can't say anything else, or else you're hurting your own case. Where people are gonna be like, fuck you, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he cares about that shit too much. All right. Love you, bro.
All right, love you too, man. Peace, everybody. Subscribe to Corin's World.
The Usher. Watch this.